Season in bubble settings. The American League will play in California, the National League in Texas. The World Series played at the Rangers' new ballpark in Arlington, Texas. NBA, a winner-take-all Game 7 in the playoffs tonight. Nuggets Clippers, 9 Eastern, ESPN TV and the ESPN app. If the Clippers are to advance to their first-ever Western Conference Finals, they need to clamp down on one Denver player in particular, advises Archene Agwumike.
They got to slow down Jokic because Jokic, he's averaging 27, 11, and 6 in elimination games, 6-1 in those games. So if I'm thinking about, this matchup, I'm thinking about slowing him down because he has been a tough matchup for Montrezl Harrell and their big Zubats included.
Today with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Raptors signed coach Nick Nurse to a multi-year extension. University of Nebraska Assistant President Ted Carter caught on a hot microphone saying an announcement about a possible Big Ten fall football season will come later today. The league recently has been reconsidering its decision to postpone the fall football season.
Hey, it's Key. Coming up Wednesday, my Lakers finally have a Western Conference final opponent. We'll figure out how we can beat them. Keyshawn, J. Will, Zubin. Wednesday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, can you let me know something? Anybody know? Has Vic Fangio burned a timeout yet?
No, man, he's saving him for next week. What are you talking about?
Listen, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm sure there's some reason why. I didn't even see an explanation today or last night.
What did you see an explanation? You see what he said? He said that he's on calling the next defensive play and he had time to call a timeout.
Oh, is that what he ended up saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Really? So
Correct.
He threw himself under the bus.
He said that he was trying to focus on the next play call and that he forgot to call a timeout. Exact quote.
Well, that's a good head coach. I mean, I'm excited about my head coach.
If I'm John Elway.
I'm excited about my head coach.
If I'm John Elway, hey, Vic, got to see in the office. Go and bring your playbook. I mean, hey, do you want to call defense the whole time? Then go be defensive coordinator. I need you to call a timeout, sir.
And it's not only that, man. You have like 5,000 people employed on an NFL team, and some of them I have no idea what they do. So can't somebody say, hey, Vic, call timeout?
Yeah.
You had 3 of them.
Couldn't like an athletic trainer come and like quick tackle them and say, hey, call a timeout real quick?
I'd be ticked off if I was their players today.
Oh, how could you not
Now,
be?
listen, I don't know if they go win the game after that, but how about give us a chance to win the game? I mean, you're talking about you need a field goal to get back in, and by the way, you need like a 60-yard field goal attempt in Denver.
Yeah.
And they almost had one. I mean, they could have kicked like a 65 or 70-yarder if they wanted to, but I mean, God, that just made no sense, man. I don't get it. Of course, we're sitting here rooting for against the Titans a little bit there, no doubt, but it just didn't make any sense. I don't even know if it maybe the play calling changes for Tennessee. Maybe they get the job done anyway. But how with a minute and change left you didn't call a timeout is just beyond me. That is just
I can't imagine.
That's a big mistake.
I can't imagine what that dialogue in that locker room is after the game between the players, right? Because listen, I've been on a couple teams, and when defense struggles, sometimes you point the finger at somebody else, right? So, for instance, say you had a bad away game. We're on the plane right back. Well, why'd coach call that play?
No doubt that happens.
So imagine if you don't get set up for the success in terms of calling a timeout or not. Imagine that kind of dialogue. Because, I mean, that's not on the players. Like, that's the head coach's job. I couldn't imagine the frustration right now from the Broncos players.
Yeah, that was bad. It was really, really bad. And you know what else about that game? Now, listen, Tennessee, they missed 3 field goals and an extra point. Maybe they should have run away with that game. But Denver also gets stopped on 4th and 1 from the goal line. And honestly, Drew Lock missed the guy on 2nd down. It should have been an easy touchdown. So I have a hard time. It's a lot. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL today, but it's a hard thing to figure who's who, Yeah. And what means what. And was that just week 1? How many weeks do you need to figure out who people are in the NFL? And It's going to be interesting, especially this year after the preseason and the way that things have transpired. Yeah, the Chiefs are good, right? The Ravens look good. I think the Saints are pretty good. But Drew Brees is a conversation today, too. Drew Brees, just because they scored, 34 points in that game, and they beat Brady, you'd expect, Drew Brees, heck of a game. No, he didn't. He did not have a heck of a game. I mean, he had pedestrian numbers. And people were even saying during that game, it's like, man, I don't know, where's the arm strength? Is he losing it? Is it going fast? The old quarterback's topic today with Brady, Rivers, and Brees, and we'll even throw Ben Roethlisberger in there, although he looked way better than those guys.
Well, and this is kind of the million-dollar question here, right? Because usually you say you make the most progress from week 1 to week 2. It's one of the most cliche things that you can say in sports media, but it's true for the most part, right? Well, keep in mind now, though, with this, the landscape being different and everything, I wonder if we really actually do know an identity week 2. I mean, like you said, yes, Chiefs are good. Spoiler alert, no kidding. Ravens, good. Eagles, maybe not that good. Cowboys, I don't know. But, I can say for certain that I know the Ravens are good and the Chiefs are good. Now, the bad teams, we'll see how that pans out and everything. But this year, it's completely different. So I can't sit here wholeheartedly, next Monday and say, well, this team is who they are and this team is who they. You can't say that just because it's so different now, Brent.
Yeah, I think it's really tough to tell. I mean, Minnesota, do they stink? Is Green Bay really good? They were 13-3 last year, and is Aaron Rodgers playing with a chip? And maybe you should get kicked out of Wisconsin, and I should get invited in.
For what? For what?
Because I believe in the Pack.
I didn't say I didn't believe in the Pack. I said the Vikings.
You said you don't believe in the Pack.
I said the Vikings are going to win the division. Okay, and I'm not going back on that right now. It's just one game, so let's relax about that. Go ahead and cut all those endorsements with Brent Marno. I don't care. Enjoy some of those perks back in all of Wisconsin.
I'm coming soon to you, the pickle. I'll be there.
It's going to be about a 2-hour drive from my house, but okay. We can make that happen.
On my way to see Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
There we go, if that's in the right direction. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out. We're talking about who are people. Well, what about the Jags? I mean, was that a one-game early season thing, or did we see something to buy into? That's the big story here in Jacksonville. And yesterday was a day to enjoy it, right? We threw a couple things in there. Okay, maybe glaze over some of the deficiencies because of the W. That's what W's do. And that's okay. And that's a good thing here in Jacksonville to be 1-0. And I almost got a big helper last night, too. That would have been something because I would have come in here today and started to say, now, if you beat Tennessee and Indy has to play Minnesota, who should be hungry, and the Texans are playing Baltimore. If the Jags were to beat Tennessee and Tennessee had lost, I mean, you could have a 2-game division lead over everybody if you win that game next. I would have been sunshine and rainbows it up.
You might as well got those tickets to Tampa Bay right now, folks.
I mean, it was unbelievable what I was going to come in here like. And then Vic just decided to sit on a couple of timeouts and not even give us a chance at that.
Yeah. Rigged? Is there a conspiracy going on here, Brent?
No.
Makes you wonder.
But I kind of fanned up a little bit last night. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
Because I wanted that storyline.
Sure.
That would have been an unbelievable
I'm not going to lie.
story.
I wanted to, but I was so in and out of consciousness because it was so late last night.
1:15, 1:20, I think
that Eastern time zone, man, will get you sometimes.
But anyway, who are the Jags, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who's James Robinson? Is that hey, nobody knew who he was? Are people going to now look at the Jags a little differently with some tape on Minshew and Gruden? Although you had tape on this offense. Do they give you a little hope? I mean, has your expectation changed a bit for the Jags, and how much so? I mean, listen, Jacksonville, you're smart enough. You've seen the NFL for a long time. You're smart enough. You're sports fans. You want to be excited, but you also don't want to get carried away. I mean, even me, I enjoyed that one yesterday. The Sunshine and Rainbows was out. I mean, membership is up.
It's fun to enjoy.
But I also don't sit here now and say, okay, now I've totally changed. They're going to be 10-6 instead of 6-10. But I may have changed by a game or two. I mean, could you do that? Is that realistic enough based on what we saw, what you could buy into, what looked like could get even better as the season goes along? So I think that's kind of where the topic goes today a little bit. Who are these Jags? Are they better than everybody thought? It's clear as day they're not like the worst team to ever exist like many people thought they would. There were some comparisons, seriously, to the 2013-14 Jags, which I thought was just totally wrong.
Yeah.
Because they weren't that on paper. I mean, the talent is totally different.
Yeah.
And so anybody who thought that is now wrong. But where does it sit? The Jags still have deficiencies. They don't have the best roster in the game. And the other part of that, the other side of that, I've been big on this the last couple of days, and really the last week. even before the game. What Doug Marone and Dave Caldwell told us, are they going to be right? And in a lot of ways, I said yesterday, yeah, they were right on some of these things. They were. I mean, they said this, and it came to fruition. Probably not on everything, but on some things. So does that give you a little bit of a renewed faith in those guys that everybody wanted gone, that they spent the offseason changing this around and it showed up in week number 1, and now you're like, all right, I'll watch a little bit more. I'll see if you guys are right a little bit more. I'll buy into it at least for a little bit, that you guys could retool this thing, get rid of some players that you thought weren't great pieces of fit for your culture and everything else, and it worked. Did they buy anything in terms of equity in 1 week? With a fan base that, quite frankly, isn't a big fan of them.
True. Listen, 1 week, it's really hard to determine that.
Yeah,
right.
True.
I mean, there is some signs of faith. You know, I think Jaguars fans could pull the card saying, well, you know what, our defense. I mean, wow, we did win the game, gave up a lot of yardage. But what I'm really starting to come around, and it was probably the biggest thing that I've been so critical on this front office and coaching staff on, was letting Leonard Fournette go. Right. And to me. And listen, we don't talk about the Steelers all the time because, Jaguars fans have some certain, feelings towards the Steelers. But I think you'd agree with me when I said the Steelers are a pretty respectable organization in terms of how they run things.
Absolutely. Right? Know how to win.
Very storied franchise. Correct. What this kind of reminded me of was back in 2018, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, that year they went 9-6-1, I believe. But if you remember how that season shook out, they had a running back by the name of Le'Veon Bell, who chose to sit out, right? And everyone was saying, well, you guys should pay him. You guys should pay him more. He's one of the best backs, not the best back in the league at the time. And I remember they came out and said, we got James Conner. We like James Conner. We know, I think we're going to be okay. And everyone's like, James Conner's not Le'Veon Bell. Like, what are you guys thinking? Well, what happened? Le'Veon Bell sat out. James Conner went in, and guess what? James Conner had a Pro Bowl year, his first year starting. It was a second year total, but his first year starting. Became an absolute beast. I think he had 12 touchdowns that year. Made a Pro Bowl. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, James Conner might be somebody. Wow, Mike Tomlin, that Steelers organization, might know what they're doing. I'm not going to get ready to call James Robinson James Conner quite yet.
Call him James, though.
You call him James, right? But it goes to show you a little bit, like, listen, maybe they do know something that we don't, right? Maybe that every single move that we, look at with the microscope here, maybe some things are better left to, let Leonard Fournette go. Maybe it is better to have James Robinson be the starter. So with that being said, it reminded me back of 2018 and James Conner.
I like where your head is right now. I perked up a little bit when you said that because that wasn't the only move the Steelers made over the last couple of years to say, we don't need you. Even though you've been good, we don't need you, and we're not putting up with you anymore. And that's a little bit of what the Jags have done. Again, the addition by subtraction. Does it work in the NFL? Will it work for the Jags? I'm going to take a closer look now at that Steelers team and see what else might mirror what the Jags have done. Now, keep in mind they have a legendary quarterback to be able to wrap things around, much like Seattle and others we've discussed in the past.
But isn't it kind of unique, though, right? We talk about Le'Veon Bell, and at the time, people were like, you can't let that guy go. He's too talented. I mean, keep in mind, he was one of the first bell cows in terms of receptions, exactly, and running the ball.
He was arguably the best back in the game.
He was at the time.
Because of his way to receive it and his patience running it and – yeah.
And then keep in mind, Antonio Brown, I think, was the next year. And we know how Antonio Brown, that whole thing shook out, right? But at the time, one of the best wide receivers in the game. So let's look at this now analytically. You lose probably the best running back at the time, and you lose probably the best wide receiver at the time. But nobody's sitting here and saying, well, this culture sucks. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves. No, you know why? Because they found a way around it, and they made it work. And now we're sitting here today talking about, man, Steelers are still good. That they have a respectable organization. Mike Tomlin, a fantastic coach. It just begs the question, can the Jaguars do that? Can you lose Jalen Ramsey? Can you lose Fournette? Can you lose all these guys and rebound from it? Because if you can, that's how you start to build a storied organization.
Well, the other thing they did, too, is they drafted pretty well. And I think right now the arrow is up on what the Jags just did from a draft standpoint. And they've got a lot of young players that really played pretty good football. And if you saw Jerry Jeudy, who dropped a couple balls and one big one, it goes to remind you that you say, hey, he's a rookie. That's fine. He's still a good player. We saw a lot of good things. You're right. We saw a lot of good things from Jerry Jeudy last night.
Yeah.
But he also might have cost him the football game by dropping one in his hands and two in his hands, but one late in the game. Yep. And if you look at what the Jags young players did in critical times yesterday,
stepped up,
or Sunday, they made plays. So that shows you how hard it is to do it. And you got to be talented, and you got to have a certain amount of moxie to do that. And the Jags, at least for a week, did that. So reason to be a little bit more excited about what the Jags have. Not going to flip it completely to Tennessee yet. We've got a whole week to do that. I do want to know, is Tennessee good? Did we learn about them at all? Or is the kicking game so atrocious that it kind of was a mirage of sorts for what the Tennessee Titans really are?
Do you cut him, Stephen Gostkowski? I mean, you have to let him go, right?
Or yeah, I think you do,
first,
but I'm not so sure they will. Unless something's already happened. But
sure.
I don't know. I feel like Vrabel might have a little more loyalty to him than that. And keep in mind, remember the Colts last year?
Vinatieri.
With Vinatieri. He cost them football games. Vrabel and Tennessee need to look at the Colts and say, hey, Vinatieri was awesome, but he lost it and couldn't get out of it. And he cost us a chance at the playoffs, most likely. Single-handedly, the kicker, the greatest kicker of all time, cost him. Gostkowski's had a tremendous career. But we're about to go play a divisional game against a team that's 1-0 now and might be better than we even thought. And we can't afford to lose games. I mean, Titans aren't the Chiefs. They can't overcome those things. They're still not there, all right? So you can't pencil the Titans in for 12 wins. They're a 9 to 10 win team, and if they're really good, they're 11. They can't be giving away games, which they almost did yesterday, and they could potentially do if Gostkowski kicks and he stinks again.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Vrabel, listen, it's not a fun conversation to have, right? Obviously, there is some kind of relationship there between him and Gostkowski just because he came from New England, right? So, I mean, sure, there's ties there. But yet, if you're Vrabel and you look at your identity and what I talk about for our predictions, like, you know who the Tennessee Titans are going to be. You know what they're going to try to do, and the Tennessee Titans will play in a lot of close ball games. You cannot afford to miss field goals. So you have to do what's best for your team. I get it, man. Relationships are an important part and all this stuff. At the end of the day, it's a cutthroat business. You know, and if that guy's going to cost you games, you got to let him go.
Well, let's be honest. You, me, and Kuz could have all made the last kick.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if we had missed 45 kicks in a row. We could have made the last kick. That did not tell me anything. If he had kicked a 48-yarder to win it, I'd tip my cap and say nice. But that showed nothing. I mean, seriously, even on a bad day, an NFL kicker is going to kick that one through.
Yep.
And I know he struggled even earlier, but he wasn't going to miss that kick.
Yeah, but you could tell, man, something was up because he was taking off his shoes on the sideline. I think he took off his socks at one
he was
point.
A mental mess.
What were you doing?
My point is that one kick doesn't necessarily override everything else that was happening.
It absolutely cannot.
Because that was more fluky than the others.
That'd be like saying a corner gives up 4 touchdowns, but he got an interception to end the game.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, those 4 touchdowns are still sticking out there, sir.
Absolutely. All right, let's bring it back. We talk a little Jags. James Robinson, seriously, I like your James Conner comparison. Who is this guy? Are we all in on James Robinson? I mean, is this legit? Because he's still an undrafted guy now. And consistency can be a difficult thing for players like that.
Correct.
Should we be getting carried away about number 30 for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And how have the expectations changed here in Jacksonville? By a lot? By a little? What do you think? Jump in the conversation, 904-362-9901, *690, or of course on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch for all you gamers out there. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Very warm and humid today. Partly cloudy skies, scattered showers, perhaps an isolated thunderstorm. Highs in the mid-80s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save thousands right now with Beards' unbeatable deals.
It's a busy time right now as the kids head back to school. COVID-19 is still lingering and flu season is right around the corner. Clean air and home comfort have never been more important. Clean air equals healthier air. Your friends at Bold City Heating and Air offer duct sanitation and air purification, meaning not only will your Bold City Heating and Air be chilly cold, but also free of any microbacteria or nasty viruses that may try to make your home their home. Never fear what you can't see again. For only $499, a Bold City Heating and Air sanitation and purification package will give you peace of mind knowing your family is breathing fresh, clean air. Let the team at Bold City Heating and Air take care of your air and comfort. Be bold with COVID and flu season and sanitize your ducts for only $499. Simply with a call to Bold City Heating and Air at 904-379-1648. That's 904-379-1648. Or visit boldcityac.com. Bold City Heating and Air. Be bold and stay cold.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jack's Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jackscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
Back to school also means back to Friday night football. Get to the game in style in a new Honda from Honda of the Avenues. Their incredible summer clearance event is going on now to make room for the new 2021 models. Find great deals and haul the whole team in a new Odyssey, Pilot, or CRV. Plus, Hondas are safe and reliable, just what you and your team need. Don't miss kickoff. Stop by the Honda Giant on Phillips Highway just a few yards south of the Avenues to see all their inventory, or start looking right now at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
Last chance for summer savings. It'll be your last chance to take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest in 2020.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Takuri or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Hurry! Last chance for summer savings. Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jack's Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jackscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by StarStar, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing StarStar Mobile from your mobile phone. That's StarStar Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded StarStar mobile number, StarStar Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing StarStar Mobile from your mobile phone. That's StarStar Mobile.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags' victory on Sunday left everyone feeling good. Unfortunately, it also put starting safety Gerard Wilson on IR with a hamstring. In response, the Jags are bringing up Sidney Jones from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster. On Monday Night Football, the Titans eked out a win against the Denver Broncos, and Big Ben returned to the NFL after missing almost all of last season. Roethlisberger and the Steelers bested the Giants 26-16. He threw 3 touchdowns and no picks in his return, and here are his thoughts.
I told the guys in the locker room before the game that the reason I came back is because of them. I don't need to accomplish anything personally anymore. It's about being with a defense that I think is as good as any that I've ever played with, skill guys that are young and fun to play with, and then, of course, my line, who I love to death and they love me.
You're working from home and you want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker, play ESPN 690.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
Brent Martineau.
I finished second, right? I lost in the championship to you.
Austin Lane.
Hey, you know what? You didn't win, okay? That's all that matters.
I didn't win.
Don't worry about what you did last year. You didn't win.
I didn't win, and I auto-drafted.
That's right.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
I mean, we've seen that from CJ all along. I mean, he's a guy that, really has great ability and has the ability to make plays and really, be a difference maker. I think, there's probably some technique stuff that will keep going and correct. And that's what's great about CJ. He's constantly wanting to learn. He constantly wants to, to be a better football player. And we think he's a heck of a player now. So I think, a young player like that, all of a sudden you get out there, you're thrown out there. Not a lot of people are saying things, and you get your first pick in the first game, with +2 in the turnover bracket. That's a lot. I mean, he did a nice job.
Yeah, I would say C.J. Henderson did a nice job. I mean, getting rave reviews around the league. It's Baldinger, I think. Brian Baldinger does, really breaks down the tape, had really good things to say about him. And I think Pro Football Focus numbers are out, has really good things to say about him. Listen, it was a great debut. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I don't know if it makes him a future Hall of Famer, but he doesn't jump out at you, kind of like Jalen did. Like, I'm telling you, man, Jalen, I'm not that guy. Mm-hmm. That's like, whoa, I can tell this guy's really good. I mean, I just don't do that very much. I don't say that. And Jalen was that guy to me. Like, to be honest with you, Justin Blackmon was that guy back in the day. On the practice field, you're like, that looks different.
Yeah.
We don't see that around here. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's what C.J. Henderson's been on the practice field to me, or when I watch him play for the Gators, or even when he's out on the field. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is he played a heck of a football game in his debut, and that's an encouraging sign. He's only going to get better. I believe, and I've said this all about C.J. Henderson all along, I think he'll take some lumps along the way. I mean, everybody does. But, I think he'll take some noticeable ones. I think he'll have this inconsistent up and down the year. That's kind of been my take. I'm going to stick with it until he proves me wrong. Mm-hmm. Maybe he opens this month and he's sensational the whole way through, and it's like, dang, we got a lockdown corner here, and he's just flat out good. Yeah. I mean, that could be the case. But we got to see a little bit more to be able to do that, but it's a heck of a start for C.J. Henderson.
Without a doubt. And what I like about it the most is the fact that his confidence has to be an all-time high right now. I mean, he got an interception his very first game in the NFL. I mean, if I would have got a sack my very first game in the NFL, I wouldn't be working here right now. I'd probably be on a different team right now, making a max deal, winning Super Bowls, okay? Because that's how much it can boost your confidence. So I think from a position where it is about confidence, it is about the mentality just as much as it is the physicality, I like what I saw from C.J. Henderson. And especially keep in mind, too, the biggest knock about C.J. Henderson out of college was what? His ability to tackle, right? His ability to.
But doesn't every corner get that?
Well, but let's be honest, and I said it before when they drafted him. I don't know what he's going to be like as a cover corner. I don't need my cornerbacks to make a lot of tackles. Because if that's the case, then guess what? Your defense probably isn't that good. With that being said, I think he had, 4 tackles on Sunday?
And 2 on the consecutive plays that were big ones.
Exactly. So, listen, I mean, if you want to talk about his biggest red flag out of college, well, he seemed to put that to bed a little bit. Now, once again, is he take some lumps? Possibly. I'm just saying from his biggest red flag, what he seemed to put to sleep, and the fact he's got a lot of confidence right now going to Tennessee, you have to like it.
Yeah, I think, you know, by the way, you just kind of jogged my memory a little bit. Now I really wish I did let you out of that goalpost taping, because if it would have given you that much confidence, maybe you wouldn't be here right now.
I know, man. Yeah, and then what would you be doing?
Maybe it does go back to that. If you needed that much of a confidence booster,
well, Brett,
I probably shouldn't have hurt your psyche.
My eyebrows were shaved. I was taped to a goalpost. I didn't have a lot going for me at the time, and you weren't helping the situation, but it is what it is. I'm here now. It's clear as day.
Hey, James Robinson, also a spectacular debut. It's like the best 12 carries for 62 yards you're ever going to see, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, you go back and
throw a hurdle in there, you better believe it.
Oh, then that's the catch, right? For 28
I'm sorry.
yards.
Yeah, that was a catch.
Maybe it was 61 carries, but 61 yards. I thought that's what he touched the ball about a dozen times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way they're going to run the football. Mm-hmm. Now, they didn't have a massive amount of plays, but I think that's how they're going to run the football. I don't think this is going to be 20 carries for somebody. I really don't. I think they're going to utilize the short passing game as runs, much like we said the Patriots have done over the years with Brady and McDaniels and going all the way back, really. And a lot of teams do that now. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see the screenplay, get it into it. So he might have, I think he'll have between 12 and 15, 16 touches a game, a couple out of the backfield and obviously a lot handling the ball. But that felt like an electric 89 yards to me. It felt like a really good 89 yards. Are we overdoing the James Robinson stuff because we had no idea who he was? We're Googling him. We're calling people like, have you ever heard of this guy? We're trying to find video. We're going to the East-West Shrine game instead of the Senior Bowl and big-time college bowl games to look at him. Mm-hmm. I mean, we think they're lying to us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
who are you telling?
Who is James Robinson? So are we just a little bit over the moon on James Robinson right now, and it's a little too much? It's exaggerated because we didn't expect to see things look like that? Mm-hmm. Or is this the start of something for James Robinson? How do you feel about it?
See, I think, from the overall consensus right now, I think Jaguars fans are super amped up just because of how things transpired with losing Fournette right now, whether Gardner Minshew fired the first shot or Fournette, whatever the case may be. But, Fournette had his stuff to say, playing with a real quarterback right now. That could have been a diss towards Gardner Minshew. So with that being said, I think Jaguars fans are extremely happy to say, well, look at what look what James Robinson did, and look what Fournette did. Now it's one game, obviously. And I think it has to be within reason. I think Indianapolis was not prepared for James Robinson. I think Tennessee might be a little more prepared for James Robinson, their defensive line and how they play football. But I like what I saw, Brent, right? And it's not necessarily, his style to me wasn't like the sexiest thing out there, right? It wasn't like a Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott or an Alvin Kamara where it's like any time the guy could take the ball 88 out the gate. It wasn't like that. But it was the meat and potatoes. It was meat and potatoes. And you know what? That can be very filling. And I think Jaguars fans got their fill on Sunday where it was like, if you can get 4 or 5 yards of pop, that's going to make the world of difference in terms of your offense, what you can run.
I'm telling you, somebody said this to me like 2 weeks ago when Leonard Fournette got cut. And it's like, listen, Leonard Fournette's a good player. Mm-hmm. But for Fournette to get the 12-yard, 24-yard on times or maybe even break one free, you've got to live through the 4 or 5, maybe even 6 plays that go for negative yardage. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll take the 42-yard run, though.
Yeah.
And then talks to some folks the last couple of days, and like, yeah, didn't have the negative plays. This is obviously an extreme focus from somebody in that building in the offseason to say we can't have the negative plays. Whether it's Jay Gruden who preaches it and believes in it just as guys that throws our offense off. If we're back there and we're giving up 1 2-yard losses, 3-yard losses, and 2nd and 13, or we go from 2nd and 2 to 3rd and 5, or those kind of situations, I'll take a guy. I don't need the 45-yarder if you give me a guy that's just going to at least get one every time. And so is there something to that? Because Robinson didn't have the negative plays. I think he had one maybe.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's going to happen. But he didn't have that. And that's a little on the offensive line getting pushed and all that stuff. But it's also about the back being able to hit the hole and make the first guy miss a little bit or at least be able to move that guy forward. And Robinson showed that. He's got some strength there to be able to move that defender even if he hits him at the line of scrimmage.
Well, and it does, but it's a great point, and it's a great question, though. Who's responsible for this, right? Because we saw an offensive line that looked a little different in terms of how they're blocking, right? And you could say, well, yeah, it's Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator. But let's ask ourselves this question. Jay Gruden never used a fullback in Washington, okay? And Jay Gruden had Adrian Peterson, who one could argue could be a power running back. And the fact that he never used a fullback in Washington, it kind of leads you to believe, is this Doug Marone's call? Well, was this Doug Marone's idea to be like, listen, back in 2017 when I was here, we had a lot of success with Fournette and the Jacksonville Jaguars offense when we had a fullback and we didn't really block in that stretch kind of scheme. We went straight downhill. That's what it seems like they're back to. It seems like they're back to 2017. Now, you have a little Jay Gruden wrinkle here or there, but in terms of how they're run blocking, in terms of their philosophy of running the football, it reminded me a little bit of 2017.
Oh, and that offensive line, by the way, did a nice job. I mean, there were, again, there's not going to be 100%, but overall, that offensive line did a nice job. I mean, you did not see, in fairness, you didn't see like this, wow, Indianapolis is the best, and this gap between the Indianapolis line and what the Jags did.
Yeah.
They looked like somewhat similar lines. Now, I'm sure if you break it down and the pressures and the whatever, and maybe Quentin Nelson was mauling people more than A.J. Can was, I'm sure there was some of that. And I'm not sitting here telling you the Jags line is better. I'm just telling you they played pretty darn good in that opening game. And if that's the case, then that would be more 2017-esque.
Yeah.
Because the offensive line did play well in 2017.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they played more physical, right? Like, I think when John DeFilippo came in, he tried to make it a little more finesse. I think he tried to make it a little more about speed and getting in the corner and things like that. You saw the frustration from Fournette last year when they attempted to do that. It absolutely backfired. Enter Jay Gruden, who's kind of been about that life a little bit as well. But I think with Doug Marone having the experience where, guess what? We've had some of our best success when we just pound the rock going forward and we use a fullback. That could be a little Doug Marone influence on you right there.
All right, expectation-wise. Again, I'm excited to see James Robinson. This is going to be a physical football game. You know that coming up against the Titans. And they got some players, and Simmons looks the part last night. Looked really good. So we'll see. You got Clowney, you got Simmons, it's a good football team on paper, and you know they're physical. So let's see what James Robinson does against that game. He's going to have to show us more. All these guys are going to have to show us more. Listen, we're not kidding ourselves. We understand. This is not all of a sudden a quest to see if the Jags can go 14-2. It's just a total different change in what we could be talking about instead of what we are talking about. And it's kind of nice and refreshing, to be honest. But where does that leave you expectation-wise? You had the Jags, 6-10, 5-11?
So
after Leonard left, you had 5-11.
So I'm 5-11.
After what you saw, see, it's different for me. Just be honest with you, and this is, maybe it is a humble brag, but it's 6. I had him 6-10. I had him 7-9.
Correct.
And then I dropped him to 6-10 after the changes in the feeling that we had going into the season.
Yep.
And I also, by the way, in all of that, I had them beating the Colts.
You did.
So it's not like they got a game that I didn't.
It's not like you're shocked.
I'm still surprised.
Yeah.
But it's not a game that I picked. So it's not like for you, they got a win that you didn't expect. So now you could say 6-10 is my point.
Correct.
I probably, in reality, instead, I have them back up to 7-win team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think now, all of a sudden, I watched that first game, and I'm like, whoa, now. I got them going 9-7 and fighting for a playoff spot. That's not what this is for me. This is, and I think they might. 6 was already going to be pretty hard. 7 is going to be hard. They've got a good, daunting schedule really in the back half of the year. Now I do feel though like this is a football team after what I saw out there that's capable of getting the 6 I thought. And you know what? Who cares about Leonard and Jan and all those guys? They're capable of getting the 7th I initially had them predicted for. I'm going to bump them back one game based on what I saw to 7-9. So it slightly changes my expectation.
Yeah.
And now let me see a couple more weeks, and you could really alter my expectation.
Listen, I mean, it's not a bad call at all. I can't overreact so much after one game, okay? I can't sit here and say, well, they won the first game of the season, so that means they're going to have a lot more wins than I would have expected. Now, they could be a little better than I expected for sure. And if you break down their schedule, I mean, the Dolphins come in week 3 to town. I mean, that should be a pretty solid win. And they go to Cincinnati. I mean, that could be a good win. So the wins are there for the taking, right? But I got to keep things in perspective real quick here, and I have to bring things back down to reality. It's still the youngest team in the NFL, okay? And so far, they've exceeded expectations from week 1. I'll give that to them all day. The question comes down to what happens when they face adversity, because they didn't really face too much adversity against Indianapolis. I mean, yeah, they went down 7-0. Yeah, but I mean, and they rebounded off of that. But I'm saying, what happens when you lay that egg in that one game? All right, what happens when all of a sudden we're talking now, oh, there's the Jaguars that we were expecting. How do they handle that? How does the locker room handle it? Now, they have a great leader in Gardner Minshew, and it seems like Doug Marone's in it to win and things like that. But I'm just saying, having those young guys in the locker room, how are they going to be able to handle that?
I'll tell you what, though. This week's game is a potential narrative changer.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they somehow go to Tennessee and win, that's a narrative changer.
I don't even need that. Like I said before, I don't need that, Brent.
Yeah, you said hang around and
I
be
just need them to hold their own.
Kind of what it looks like, yeah. But I'm just saying if they do win, that's a narrative changer. Like the rest of the league, the division could be 1-1, 0-2, 0-2, quite frankly, if you look at who they have to play.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Jaguars were 2-0 after that game, going to Tennessee and beating Indy, I mean, listen, they could turn around and lose to Miami on Thursday night and the Bengals the next week.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you the narrative will change. Like the perception of the team will change. The power rankings that somebody did today, instead of jumping up to 27th, they'll be jumping up to like 16th.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it will totally change.
Yep.
In terms of how you look at this season. That's if they can beat them. And they don't have to beat them to still be a halfway decent team, but that would really change things in terms of people's eyes.
If they do that, then obviously your entire expectation of this team, it has to change. I mean, it absolutely has to change.
They've earned it if that
they've earned our respect and our attention for sure. My point, though, is that even if they don't win and they go punch for punch with the Tennessee Titans, when I say punch for punch, I mean they match them in physicality. Right, because I mean we saw it last night a little bit. Yeah, we saw Corey Davis have a really good game. Good for him, finally. We saw A.J. Brown come clean a couple times. We saw a lot more play action than I expected. But at the end of the day, you know what happened? Derrick Henry ran the ball for I think at least 30 times.
31 for 116.
Exactly. That's who they are. They're a tough, physical, downhill team. And if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, in terms of scheming, you got a plan here, you got a plan here. But you just got to match them physically. Now, can you do that or not? That's the biggest question. And that's going to be, to me, the biggest awakening the entire year in terms of being a young team, right? Because coming from college is one thing. You play in these hard games. But playing the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee, with that kind of tradition on the line, with that, hard-hitting mentality, that's something different. And that's what, if you're Doug Marone, if you're Dave Caldwell, you're going to find out what type of players you truly have.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Let's go to the lines real quick before we take a break. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Steven's on the line. What's up, man?
Steven's on the line. Oh,
there he is.
Yeah,
What's up?
I'm here. My question is for Austin. Seeing what you saw last night with Jadeveon Clowney, we got them this week. What do you see that Cam Robinson would have to do to hold that monster back?
All right, great question, Steven. Yeah, so how do you stop Jadeveon Clowney? Now, listen, I mean, it's a couple things, right? In terms of the pass rush, he's still that explosive guy, the speed guy. But if you're Cam Robinson, 0 false steps. You cannot afford to have a bad footwork game, let's just call it like that. Because with Clowney, whether he's, in college or how old is he now? He's
27.
Okay.
27.
I mean, he's up there a little bit. He's been around for a while.
He's a 14 guy, so that's 6 years in. So 27, 28.
Okay. But he's still got that first step, and I was talking about with Marcel Darius, right? Like I always bragged about Marcel Darius' first step because it was almost impossible to block him one-on-one just because it was so good. Clowney kind of has the same thing, right? So if you're trying to stop that kind of guy, you can't have any kind of mistakes whatsoever. And then a little goes to luck as well. But I'm just saying, if I'm Cam Robinson, especially in the run game, no false steps. In the pass game, chip when you can. Whether that's James Robinson, whether that's Chris Thompson, who's a pretty good, pass blocker in his own right. I'm helping Cam Robinson out whenever I can because the last thing I want is Clowney to beat me.
It'll be a big game for that offensive line, no doubt about it. And it's also an interesting game because the Jaguars apparently tried to roadblock that Titans signing.
Yeah.
And with that sign and trade with New Orleans and Baltimore was involved, would have been something. But they did try to keep him away from Tennessee, it looks like.
Yeah.
And couldn't do it. So be a big game coming up on Sunday in Nashville. We'll take a break. When we come back, we talk more football, of course, still on the way. I want to get into some of the NFL, especially these quarterbacks. Are they old? Are they too old, some of them? I mean, is father time caught up? And the other thing, I can't help but think about, and I'm not sure if I'm right. You'll have to let me know.
Yeah.
I said a little bit of this last year, but I feel even more so this year. Is the NFL in the best place it's ever been across the board for quarterbacks?
It's not a bad call. Not a bad call.
It feels like it's as deep as it's ever been.
Something I got to share too here after the break. I had a huge celebrity encounter today.
Today?
Yep.
I mean, we do
Talk
this
to this
every day,
person.
man.
Even bigger than you.
Oh.
Okay, but spoiler alert, same profession.
Oh.
But actually big celebrity.
You might have to get the drop button ready. I don't know where he's going with this.
Yeah,
We'll be
check
back
it out.
on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. The Jags have 2 opt-outs. How big are these losses in your opinion?
Lorente McCray is different to me. This is a guy who's going on his 7th season here in the NFL. If you have the honor to wear the C in that locker room, it means that you're a leader. You have some sort of influence on that team.
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app. It's a busy time right now as the kids head back to school. COVID-19 is still lingering and flu season is right around the corner. Clean air and home comfort have never been more important. Clean air equals healthier air. Your friends at Bold City Heating and Air offer duct sanitation and air purification, meaning not only will your Bold City Heating and Air be chilly cold, but also free of any microbacteria or nasty viruses that may try to make your home their home. Never fear what you can't see again. For only $499, a Bold City Heating and Air sanitation and purification package will give you peace of mind knowing your family is breathing fresh, clean air. Let the team at Bold City Heating and Air take care of your air and comfort. Be bold with COVID and flu season and sanitize your ducts for only $499. Simply with a call to Bold City Heating and Air at 904-379-1648. That's 904-379-1648. Or visit boldcityac.com. Bold City Heating and Air. Be bold and stay cold.
Over 300 children in Northeast Florida are currently undergoing cancer treatment. 84% of families whose child is tackling cancer will experience financial hardship. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which is represented by the Gold Ribbon. Go gold this September with the Tom Coughlin J Fund to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/go gold for more information.
This is Tom Scared for the Borgen Project. Each year, nearly 2 million children die from preventable diseases. Each day, 30,000 people die from hunger. 500 each hour are children. The Borgen Project is turning this around. We need your help. To learn more, go to borgenproject.org. That's BORGEN project.org.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
HBI, a national leader for career training in the building industry, is providing training, certification, and placement in the construction industry for veterans, their spouses, and children that are over the age of 18 at no cost. The following 2020 class dates are being offered: August 10th, September 14th, October 19th, and November 16th. For more program and class details, please call Joe Jones at 407-717-7609 or visit the website at hbi.org. That's hbi.org.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Hey, it's Goose from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Listen to Action Sports Jacks.
Just be myself, not try to change who I am, and go and play in my game. The coaches told me just go be you, and that's what I did. I didn't go out there planning to be someone else and someone that I wasn't. And I think just the way after the first carry, I was like, okay, yeah, we're in it now. Yes, the first NFL game, but after that first play, that's gone. Now you got to play. So just went out there and be myself.
Jaguars running back James Robinson. That first play means everything. I remember my first play, but it was in preseason. See, that's why it's so crazy to think that this team, won this ball game and had some success, on both sides of the ball, really, especially on offense. And the fact that this was a lot of those guys' very first game, in the league. Now, maybe one could think not having a crowd there helped it out a little bit. Or, having, the Jaguars had a crowd there. It was obviously at minimum capacity, but not having like those 60,000, 70,000 fans in each NFL stadium, and your adrenaline's pumping and things like that, and you're a little nervous, and palms are sweaty, mom's heart's aching, mom's spaghetti, whatever, the Eminem song. You take that crowd away, and maybe that kind of eases the nerves a little bit. So whatever the excuse could be, the Jaguars rookies performed very well. And to be fair, some of the other rookies around the NFL didn't perform that well. So props to, Doug Marone for getting these guys ready. Now, once again, and I can't state this enough, and I know my co-host Brent Martineau here is Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows. I'm a little more of the realist guy. So I can't, blow this out of proportion. But one game, you got to be impressed with what he was able to do and what those rookies were able to do. Like, do you think, really, that the crowd, maybe being at 12,000, 15,000 had something to do with the success of the Jaguars rookies? Because I remember even, my first preseason game, Brent. I'm there, and it was home. And it was just 50,000 people cheering for you. I was like, time to go now.
Oh, so you think the fact that there was less there?
Yeah, I think it kind of can ease some nerves a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it did. It did. I don't know. I don't know. I guess in the same vein, like I said way back, when Colin Morikawa won the PGA Championship, and there were no fans, I think that helped. Like, people were like, oh, he's cool as a cute. They were like, oh, no, you don't know this guy. He's got nerves of steel. It's like, okay, so what? When you have 50,000 people at the end of a tournament, it heightens the environment, Well, same thing there. It heightens the environment. I didn't think like it did, but it might have, I guess. Maybe that is a bit of an advantage.
Do you think who are the teams that have fans? Kansas City and Jags, that's it?
Well, actually, Denver had a few last night. Yep. I guess they had invitees only.
So then that kind of takes it away a little bit. But I was going to say, if Kansas City and the Jags win their first 3 home games, will other teams start to say, hey, this is unfair, it doesn't seem fair, they're getting the crowd?
Yeah, I don't think the unfair stuff comes. We've said a little bit of the crying by coaches. I think it was McDermott, in that sense. I just don't. Maybe I'm not putting enough into it, okay? But in my opinion, 12,000, 15,000, 600, 4,000, 5,000 in a 65,000-seat stadium is not impacting a football game. It's just not. Good, bad, indifferent. It's just not. I'm not here for it. I'm not willing to give it that kind of credit. I will tell you this. There's 14,000 tickets distributed. And you can take all the jokes you want about Jacksonville, whatever. it looked like there were 8 people there. There was way more than that, but it looked like there were 8 because it's a 65,000-seat stadium, and they're spread out.
And keep in mind where a lot of these guys are coming from, Brent. They're coming from big college conferences that have like 80,000, 90,000 fans per game screaming and yelling. Now, James Robinson, a little different. But still, it's probably even louder in Illinois State when he's playing.
Listen, here's the thing. The other thing about it to me is I think the crowd, when I think of a crowd, I think more it helps you.
Of course.
Right? Like end zones late in the game. Like if Rivers had come down to a 3rd and 3 or 4th and 3 late in the game at the 18, the north end zone was going nuts, in a normal game. I think that helps you. I think it would hurt the Jags in that situation. Like it will hurt any team, not having that crowd noise and tougher to hear and just for a guy on the defensive side of the ball to feed off that energy. I feel that. But you're not going to have that. Whether that's 12,000 strong, 5,000 strong. I still hear more of the crowd noise pumped in than anything. Yeah. And I'm not bothered by it either. All right, who'd you see? You got to pay this off.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrity sighting, not me.
So I had to run some errands at the town center. Ended up stepping out Target real quick. Had to get some beard softener. And okay, I'm going to rephrase that because that sounded.
You had to do what?
That was the most millennial thing I've ever said in my entire life. That was really millennial.
You do what for a living?
I had to run some errands.
Is that on the resume when you stop? When you head into a cage? Is that on the resume?
Yeah, I should have said that. I get some beard softener, Brent.
Endorsement coming your way for a beard softener.
I immediately regret my decision to say beard softener, but yeah, I had to get beard softener. It's like a conditioner, but it softens the beard a little bit because I have to be looking good, man. I'm not like Marcel Robinson, when it comes to style, but I can clean up a little bit every once in a while. So I get some beard softener, right? Literally went to Target for some beard softener. Well, I'm getting the beard softener. I hear, Austin, what up, man? I turn around, I'm like, I wonder who this is going to be. And I can't see because the person's obviously rocking.
Masked up.
Yeah. And now, like I said, Brent, I mean, I've met some celebrities in my lifetime, right? And I've been pretty cool and go with the flow. I was a little taken back by this dude. Met Dilla.
Oh, Target's Dilla.
Met the underground king today in person.
You met Dilla.
Yeah. And now,
how was that? I mean, was that like a bro hug or what?
Well, I mean, social distancing, right? But I think we gave like a little dab, a little. I think we actually did give a bro hug, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to get him in trouble. Ooh. But yeah, we said what's up to it.
It's good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was.
Dilla sighting.
The Dilla sighting, man. And obviously, I
wanted been at a bar in Nashville, at a watch bar, at a Bold City Brigade party.
Yeah.
Dilla didn't even come up and say hi to me.
Probably not.
So,
I mean,
you're ahead of the game.
You're kind of the anti-Dilla, right? You make fun of him sometimes. And we're talking about that. It's okay, though.
I try to keep Dilla grounded at times.
You got to. Well, he's the underground. He's the underground king. Can't keep him grounded.
You were getting beard softener. He was probably in that aisle. He needs it too.
Yeah, he probably does. He's working, but I'm sure he needs that as well. I couldn't tell because he had a mask on, but I think he's got a pretty good beard.
Did we learn anything week 1 in the NFL season other than some QBs are old? That's next on ESPN 690.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
The best jewelry buying opportunity ever is happening right now at Diamonds Direct. Pick any item, pay nothing down, and get 5 years, 0 interest financing. Imagine that $4,000 eternity band for only $67 a month, or that $8,000 three-stone ring just $135 a month. You can finance 100% of the purchase, even the tax. Don't miss this limited time opportunity for the lowest payments ever on fine jewelry. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Craig Fugate, the former director of Florida Emergency Management. In this time of COVID, you need to update your hurricane preparedness plan. That means knowing what evacuation zone you live in, and in order to leave, you need to go. Take your pets and stay with family or friends, or at an inland hotel. Shelters are another option. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org. That's floridastorms.org.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta told CNBC Daryl Morey's job as GM is safe. There'd been speculation about his job security since his tweet about Hong Kong in October damaged the NBA's and team's business relationship with China. The Raptors signed coach Nick Nurse to a multi-year extension. A spot in the NBA's Western Conference Finals on the line for the Nuggets and Clippers when they meet in Game 7 tonight, 9 Eastern ESPN TV. Denver 5-0 in elimination games this postseason and feeling good about its chances, explains ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
They are the youngest team in the playoffs, but this is their fourth Game 7 in the last 2 years. And the Nuggets have found confidence. I mean, they have been outplayed consistently throughout this series, but at the end, they've been able to steal some victories, and here they are at 3-3.
Major League Baseball and its Players Union have agreed on playing this year's postseason in bubble settings. The AL will play in California, the NL in Texas. World Series played at the Rangers' new ballpark in Arlington, Texas. Yankees outfielder Giancarlo Stanton, infielder Gio Urshela return from the injured list tonight against the Blue Jays.
Did you know that right now, Geico is offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies? That's on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Visit geico.com to learn more.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Dude, they didn't tell me anything. So, I was kind of left out and kind of awkward there. But, shoot, as long as we score touchdowns, I don't really, have much right to complain. They weren't even that good. They could do better.
That was Gardner Minshew talking about the touchdown celebrations. I thought they were okay. Bowling from Leviska Chenault. Well organized. Little dance by DJ Chark. And if Austin was here, he'd probably tell me that there's actually something to the dance and something I should know, but I don't know, is my guess. What was the other touchdown? Chenault, Cole. I saw Cole just run. Everybody was chasing Cole. In fact, you know what I remember from the Cole touchdown? Is Cam Robinson is like in full chase mode of Keelan Cole, like on the far side of the field. I mean, I bet they were all winded after Cole caught the touchdown. Gardner Minshew talking about the touchdown celebrations. He said, they weren't that good anyway, but he said he wasn't even involved in the planning and choreography of them.
Yeah.
What did you think about him? Was there something to DJ Chark's like? Is that something I'm supposed to know, or is that?
You weren't paying attention to what he told us at the Super Bowl, huh? How he was going to upgrade his last one, the cat dance or whatever. That was the upgraded version.
Vaguely. That was the upgraded version of the cat dance.
I mean, listen, I take end zone celebrations very seriously.
You apparently do.
So as soon as he said that to me, boop, memory banks. There's not a lot in there, Brent, but I put that in there. I can't remember my wedding anniversary, but boop, DJ Chark's celebration dance. You better believe it. The whole bowling one, that was the Keelan Cole one, right?
No, that was Leviska.
Oh, that was Leviska.
You're over the bowling?
I'm not going to lie. Brent.
It was well choreographed. I mean, the timing was good and everything.
No, but you're not lying there. But you know what? A little too generic for my tasting. Now, keep in mind, I'm from Wisconsin. Bowling's a big thing there. I don't want to tell Leviska Shenault how to do his job. Coming from a guy who never scored a touchdown in the NFL, right? I scored one in the Senior Bowl, but I never scored one in the NFL. But what are we starting to call Leviska Shenault? It's Oscar Leviska, right? So what does that mean? You're the Terminator. You have to have a Terminator celebration. You ever see Terminator?
I have.
All right. You remember when he first comes to Back in Time, and he's kind of like in the ball like this, and then he comes up. And
yeah.
Leviska Shenault, man, I don't want to give you advice because, once again, you're the man. You squat a lot more than I ever will or I could ever pray to. You got swag for days, man. I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but I'm just saying, watch Terminator, watch when he goes back in time in the first or second one, and watch how he comes out of that ball like that, stands up and starts walking. We have something special there, Leviska, and I'm telling you, man, from a branding perspective, if your PR people aren't on this already, they should be. Hey, by the way, that's free of charge, Viska. Free of charge right there.
But, you're on to something here. Now, Leviska shouldn't.
And the best part, when he does it, have the Jaguars audio people go, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I mean, let's go. How is that not money right there, Brent? It prints itself. Okay, sorry. Go on.
You need a new gig.
I know, right? What am I doing here? Just being trapped. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Yeah, do NFL teams hire touchdown celebration people? Like you just sit there and plan it out with each player?
Hey, they obviously don't hire timeout people for Vic Fangio, but they seemingly have everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
They have all sorts of people, but they don't have timeout people in Denver.
Dude, you have to let me be the celebration coordinator, please. Hey, Tony Khan or
Terminator,
Chark.
Leviska Shenault is 21 years old. Terminator, do you believe that was made in 84?
I'm old.
I mean,
84. To be fair, the second one's way better in my opinion. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like when he comes
that would
out,
be good, man.
He's got to do
that.
That
would be really good.
Yeah.
And you're right. You could actually choreograph that with the stadium.
Exactly.
To have some fun at home games.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Like, the idea kind of came from Kenny Omega, who's a wrestler, because he used to call him the cleaner, which was kind of a Terminator reference.
Yeah.
So, the fans in the stands, I've been at a couple of his matches back in New Japan. They used to go like that on the bleachers. You can do that in the stadium, man. How can you not do that? How cool would that be?
I like that.
We got to do it.
I like that a lot.
Make it happen, Brent. Pull your card out.
But not only that, it fits him.
I know, man.
He caught 3 passes, I think, and still has not been tackled to the ground.
Yeah.
No, he said he hasn't.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't been tackled yet.
He has not been tackled to the ground.
No one has seen him being tackled yet. Hey, did you see him getting tackled in practice? I haven't.
No, so
is this guy untackleable? Is he untackleable? We don't know.
It's intackleable.
Untackleable.
Untackleable.
I don't think either one of them's a word.
Let's go ahead and trademark that as well. Minshew Monday, untackleable. We're just printing money on a Tuesday.
Tim, how much time do you have?
Oh,
because
man, we're printing money here on a Tuesday.
ESPN 690 is intackleable.
Not to keep adding on it, but someone in the chat just asked, do they hire beard softener people?
It's good. It's good. Once again, I regret saying that. I apologize.
Oh, you regret saying it, and then you said it like 40 times in a row.
Beard softener. Dude, well, hey, if you got it, you got to rock it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I like the idea, though, about that. All right, the rest of the NFL. Are they old? Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers, listen, it's almost like Phillip Rivers looked good in that game for a lot of time.
Yeah,
he also made some crucial mistakes.
Really bad.
The bad reminded you of last year.
Yeah.
Where you Phillip Rivers shouldn't be costing you. Now,
so
you're the
liability.
Be more, that guy making those kind of mistakes and multiple mistakes. Tom Brady, I think he has 3 straight games of pick sixes. 3 straight games of pick sixes. This guy doesn't make those kind of mistakes. See, and I still think Brady has. I saw somebody talking yesterday, and they're like, "Yeah, he can't that pass out to the side line. He's not getting as much juice on it." I don't know, man. I don't see the juice leaving Brady's arm. I still feel like he has a fastball, but maybe in real time down on the field, maybe it is. He's lost a little bit, and that. Split second makes all the difference in the world in the NFL. Now, I will say, listen, Drew Brees isn't known as, he's not Brett Favre, but he's, there were some throws there that are just kind of looking like Peyton Manning at the end in terms of just getting there and not zipping in there. Is there some concern for these three quarterbacks that Father Time has caught up?
There has to be a little bit, right? Like, of course, when you get older, you're going to lose a little zip on that ball, but that's fine. Peyton Manning proved that you can go to Denver and still win a Super Bowl, right? You just have to use your smarts. What was surprising to me was some of these decisions that these quarterbacks are making were extremely costly, right? I'm reminded of Phillip Rivers. Both times those interceptions, I mean, he just stared down the receiver. Now, it wasn't like he had an excuse where he was under pressure. No, you literally just looked down your receiver the whole time, threw the ball to him, and the Jaguars defenders got a hold of it. You know, like, to me, that causes reason for concern because if anything right now, the mental gymnastics that you go through at the quarterback position, they shouldn't be going through that, right? Because there's nothing that Phillip Rivers hasn't seen on defense.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Tom Brady hasn't seen on defense. There's nothing that Drew Brees hasn't seen on defense. Like, you can't surprise these guys. I watched week one. I watched three veteran elder quarterbacks become surprised a little bit, it seemed like. And to me, that was a little disconcerting.
Yeah, again, from the mental standpoint, these guys, I think overall will be sharp. It's one game. I don't buy into the whole, maybe there's rusty. They didn't have the preseason, the offseason. Are you kidding me?
How many preseason games was Tom Brady going to play in?
Are you kidding me?
How many preseason games was Tom Brady or Drew Brees going to play in?
Didn't Tom Brady skip like the first month of a year?
Yeah.
Because he got suspended and then lit it up?
Yep.
I don't remember exactly how he did that year, but I mean, I think he did pretty well. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is, yes, we know the whole Father Time cliche, but Brady the last 2 years hasn't looked great. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been the guy leading the charge. Their defense has been better. They win the Super Bowl 13-3. Their defense was one of the best statistically last year. Now, in fairness to Brady, he doesn't have the weapons that he's had. I mean, they were basically asking him to do a lot of it at 41 and 42 years old. And like I say, I still see if he's got the zip on the ball, man, there's a lot to say for having the zip on the ball, even at his age. You know, Breeze has been so electric, and he's got everybody around him. It's like, just get him the ball and manage it. And you probably can do that much like Manning did, the year where he went crazy, even with some of the arm strength gone. And then Rivers is just now, it's all last year, and this first game showing these catastrophic mistakes where it's adding up to be like, all right, he's just lost a little bit of the edge. He just doesn't have it as much as he did. And he made some mistakes already all the time in his career. He's never won big in his career, and maybe that's part of the reason why. The other guy I'd add to this, and like Aaron Rodgers, I'm not putting in this category. Russell Wilson.
He looked just fine.
Yeah, but he's not in this kind of category to me in terms of age.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Neither is Russell Wilson. He's been in the league 9 years. Yes, they're veterans, and they're amongst the elite, but they're not close to 40 years old. Now, Ben Roethlisberger feels like he's in this category. He's been around for a long time. He's also coming back from big injury. And Roethlisberger obviously won. I mean, it wasn't electric last night, but he also didn't look anything that's cautions you to say, oh, boy, he might not have it here in 2020.
Stafford kind of the same thing, too, it seemed like a little. I mean, I don't know.
Stafford might be still on the kind of the more like the Rodgers and Wilson category. I think you're talking about those four guys as old QBs that have been amongst the elite. And maybe I'm missing one along the way. But those four guys, and you're like, okay, let's keep an eye on them now. Because even in a win, Drew Brees had some shaky moments. Brady didn't look sharp overall, and that could be the new team, could be Tampa, who knows. And Phillip Rivers obviously made some crucial mistakes. So I think it's something to watch. It's a storyline that will develop over at least the first half of this season to see how those guys are doing, if they still have it.
It's a really good call, right? Because if you're Tom Brady, if you're Drew Brees, and if you're Phillip Rivers, let's be honest, there's no excuses here. Okay, because you have the talent around you to be successful. It's not like they're playing in New York for the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins. No, the talent is there. You have offensive firepower. You just got to utilize it. And if you're Phillip Rivers, you have a fantastic offensive line. When you drop back, you don't have to worry about anything. Obviously, the Jaguars didn't have one sack this past Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, it begs the question where when you have the weapons in place, and keep in mind, Brent, once again, overreaction, one game, right? But to be fair, it's something to keep an eye on, something I didn't really even consider until you brought it up. So good call.
Yeah, and so here's my other part of this conversation. We'll keep an eye on those guys. We'll see. Listen, I still think they have enough. They're so talented, and they're so witty and smart that the wisdom will show up, and they're going to have moments. And they're so surrounded by really good players.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have moments. I guess the question you ask is, can they be consistent enough to not cost their team? Because Brady cost his team a little bit. It's pick 6. Rivers obviously cost his team, and Breeze didn't. He just really didn't look that impressive. So
yeah, Michael Thomas had like 3 catches, 4 catches?
3 catches.
Eek.
He's on my fantasy team.
Oh, so,
my number
I'm
one
sorry
pick.
to hear that. And by the way, do we just cancel the season right now? Did you watch Kyler Murray? Do we just cancel the season right now? I mean, I'm not going to lose a game this year again. So I don't know what you want to do with that. Did you watch him? Did you watch Kyler Murray, though, or not?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So that gets me to my next question.
Pretty good defense, 49ers, what I heard.
That gets me to my next question.
Pretty good defense in San Fran.
I believe, watching the NFL, I'm not sure there's ever been a time where the quarterback situation's as good as it is across the board in the NFL. I think it's the best it's ever been. Find me the worst quarterback in the league right now.
Whew. Off the top of my head, I would say
If I said, who's the worst
Sam
guy?
Darnold, Dwayne Haskins, maybe?
Okay, Dwayne Haskins got a W and actually was 17 for 31 and did okay.
Okay, there you go. Then Sam Darnold. I don't know. I mean, I'm just going off the top of my head right now. I'm going off what people tell me.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh yeah,
I still am shocked.
You're such a Tyrod Taylor denier. It's ridiculous.
Well, did you watch?
I watched it.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor. Well, here's a little sidebar to this.
Yeah.
How the Chargers, who have talent, said, you know what, we think we can win big if we ride with Tyrod Taylor is beyond me. I mean, I don't
sure,
get it. I don't like. How did they put themselves in that position? I understand the Herbert. There were people out there. Is my point. They could have gone after Cam Newton.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to fault it after one game. Because if we do that, because then Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback by far in the NFL.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, get him out of here. You can't do that.
I get you, but Carson Wentz is a heck of a lot more equity built up in the NFL than Tyrod Taylor
Sure,
does.
but there's a reason why Tyrod Taylor's still around right now. All right? I'm
waiting for it.
Game man. Yeah. What happened with you guys? Is there a story behind this?
Nothing. I'm sure. I don't like to be like this to some players. I don't see it.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it. And I just don't see it.
So
listen, I've piggybacked and died on hills for bad quarterbacks, man. I really have.
Say.
So listen,
you don't say.
I've done that. I'm not immune to it.
Okay.
I just don't get the Tyrod, and I really don't get in their position how they could say, because they have a team that's talented enough to probably go win. Like they think they can compete. And I just don't see it. I don't see how he's going to lead them there. I really don't.
Yeah, I got you. So then to answer your question, the first name that popped in my head was Sam Darnold.
Yeah. And is he bad? Like, do you think he's bad or are they bad?
Well, I mean, they're bad. Like, let's not get that twisted. The Jets are bad. I don't think Adam Gase is a great coach, so he's bad. I don't think we've really seen a proper diagnosis of what Sam Darnold could be just because the talent around him is kind of lacking, to say, for lack of a better word. So I think he's probably the worst, but I'm not saying he's horrible, get him out of the league. I'm not ready to say that.
Yeah.
But so to prove your point, I guess if you take the worst quarterback right now who could be Sam Darnold, then it's like, well, is he really that bad? Well, probably not. So to prove your point, I guess right now the quarterback depth or whatever, from top to bottom, it's good quality.
Listen, and you've got to keep in mind the context of my point here. I'm watching Drew Lock, right? And I'm watching a guy like Minshew, who a lot of people across the league are like, well, they can't wait to get Trevor Lawrence. This guy's just a whatever. And all that guy did was go 19 for 20. He's now won 7 games as the 6th-round draft pick, right?
Thanks.
So if you're going to rank QBs, Minshew would probably be near the bottom of a national ranking. Is that what most people would do?
Yeah.
And that guy's breaking records like every week.
Get him, Brent.
And he's Offensive Player of the Week up for that once again. You know? So if that's your work, right? If that's your bottom tier quarterback, and I think a lot of teams would take Sam Darnold. I think they're a mess in New York. I don't think they're very good. I don't think he's been put in a really tough spot. I think he shows moments. My point being, I think people would take a chance to see what's left, like how good can Sam Darnold be, depending on what they put around him.
Do you think it's like another Josh Rosen situation, though?
Well, I don't feel like that. For some reason, people have given up on Rosen.
Yeah.
And I think the scouting world, it's such an indictment on the scouting world that Rosen hasn't worked out. I don't know how he could be looked at across the board by so many people to be that good. And he's played 20 games in the NFL, and now he's that bad.
So
I don't understand how that can work.
Let me go ahead and bring this guy up, and I'm kind of embarrassed that he didn't come first to my mind here, but Mitch Trubisky.
Okay, fair enough. But Trubisky throws 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Did,
so my point, and it's one game. Yeah. But I said this a little bit last year. My point being that if you're in that bottom tier, those guys are still making plays and you can win games with them. Like, I don't know who's in that bottom tier of quarterbacks. I'm not saying I want that guy on my team to lead me to the Super Bowl. There's a difference. You got to keep it in context. You have your elite, you have your tier 2 guys, and so in there I think you have like a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. And then you have this mix, right? It's like 12 to 24, 13 to 24, where it's like, okay, we're still trying to figure out who that is, you know? And I think Gardner fits in there. I don't know where he fits in 13 to 24, but I think Minshew's in that, like, all right. I mean, is this guy something special?
Yeah.
Or is he going to play himself out of a starting job? Where does he fit? And Trubisky, in all honesty, has that chance one more time this year, although I wouldn't ride with it.
No, I mean, listen, if history is the indicator, I'm not buying it.
It's not, but what if he surprises everybody is my point. Yeah. But it doesn't look like I would put him in the bottom tier.
Sure.
I'd probably put Darnold right now, given what he's done, in the bottom tier. The Tyrod Taylors of the world to go in the Ryan Fitzpatricks. But they have somebody on deck.
What about Baker Mayfield? How confident are you with him?
Well, not very.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Mayfield, with all that stuff, is at the highest, he'd be like in that 22, 23, 24 category, but he might be getting closer to that bottom tier territory.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to give you one more name real quick, because I like what we're talking about right now, because we're saying, well, if you're that bottom tier quarterback, you have to have a defense or guys around you that can elevate you, right? Because you probably can't win it on your own. Let me bring this guy up, and I want to see where he ranks in your opinion. Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's a good one, right? I don't think I'd love him on my team.
Okay.
But he also scares me on a team because you're like, what? There's something there.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you tap into it? And how much does like 24 fumbles in 29 games show up? How much does a bad play in the red zone I think he had the other day that I saw going around social media? How much does that show up? You know, so he's so, and they've bought in. Yeah. See, I guess the way I view it is this, man. Who are the teams that are bought in on their quarterbacks, like that are all in on their QBs? And like Cleveland's all in on Baker Mayfield. They might decide at year's end they're not if it goes really bad, but they're all in. Buffalo's all in on Josh Allen.
Of course.
And
it seems like the Broncos are on Drew Lock.
And they're all in on Drew Lock.
Listen,
I watched Drew Lock, and I tweeted one time, it was during that really good drive, but I think Drew Lock had some really nice moments yesterday. Now, again, he didn't get the job done. At the end of the day, they only scored 14 points. So I guess in totality, he didn't. At one time, he was 20 of 26, and he had 2 big drops by Judy. Yeah. So I don't know if he cost them the game. He could have won him the game or helped because he had that second down near the goal line. He overshot. You got to make those plays.
And then they had stuff, too, at the goal line, remember, as well.
Well, that was in that sequence.
Yeah.
Earlier, they never get stuffed if he completes an easy pass. Like, he would complete it, you would think, 9 out of 10 times. So, like, I'm not sitting here all in on Drew Lock, but I also see some things in Drew Lock that if I was a Denver fan or if I was a Denver organization, I'm like, okay, we could work with this. So, Daniel Jones. I mean, did you see Daniel Jones yesterday? Like, he made some nice plays.
Yeah.
I understand he got hit on the one play, but he made some – that drive was an incredible drive by the Giants and really an incredible drive by Jones. He has no offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, when Saquon Barkley's running 15 times for like 6 yards.
Ben Roethlisberger had more rushing yards.
I mean, 15 times for, was it 6? Is 6 yards? Yeah. And he's one of the best backs. Your offensive line is terrible.
It's my offensive player of the year, by the way. Can't you remember?
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
I mean, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I just, my point being is these quarterbacks aren't bad. I think there's a lot of buy-in on QB. This used to be a league. If you go back even 4 years ago, but really go back 10, 15 years ago, there was half the league looking to find the next guy. Everybody's trying to find the next Brady, Favre, Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Everybody's always trying to do that. But you can win in this league with pretty good quarterback play. It doesn't always have to be great quarterback play. And I just think right now, I don't remember a time watching the NFL where there are so many quarterbacks that could be the guy for their team. Now, again, the story isn't completely written. But I don't sit here in September of 2020 and say there are 12 teams or 8 teams or 10 teams that hope they have a top 5 pick so they can get one of these 3 quarterbacks in the draft. Sure. Everybody might love the idea of Trevor Lawrence, but I'm not sure a lot of people would even take Trevor Lawrence because they might like their guy, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, and if you say Trevor Lawrence is like the once-in-a-generational guy, then you got to take him. But let's be honest. I mean, people are really high on Trey Lance. People are really high on J.K. Dobbins as well. It's hard to imagine right now 3 quarterbacks going to 3 new
Justin
teams.
Fields.
I'm sorry, J.K. J.K. Dobbins is the guy from Baltimore.
Already in Baltimore.
I got Baltimore in mind. Sorry, because you took Jackson. I'm still upset about that. Anyways,
okay.
But yeah. So with that being said, though, it is kind of hard to imagine like a bunch of quarterbacks getting drafted and going to places. It really is, because especially if you're a GM, you got to be committed. Like, for instance, Ryan Pace, Chicago, he's been committed to Mitch Trubisky. Now, Mitch Trubisky has been abysmal the past couple years, right? But for whatever reason, Ryan Pace is like, this is our guy, this is our guy, this is our guy. Now, maybe that saves your job or whatever, but that's the thing. I like what we're talking about, though, where basically we have two tiers. We have the tier that can elevate the quarterbacks that can elevate their team around them and make them better. And we have the tier where it's like, all right, I need help. I need offensive weapons. I need a defense. I need an offensive line. And then just maybe I can be successful. One could argue like Ryan Tannehill would be in that tier. What I like with the Jaguar situation is it seems like Gardner Minshew elevates the guys around him, right? Because we saw what happened when a former Super Bowl champion and Nick Foles came in. Zero elevation, right? And then we saw what happened when Gardner Minshew came in, and it seemed like all of a sudden, here's DJ Chark now, right? All of a sudden, oh, Keelan Cole, welcome back. All of a sudden, we got Leviska Shenault. It seems like that Gardner Minshew is elevating the guys around him, especially with the defense. Let's be honest, no one's given a chance right now in the NFL. So with that being said, I like that if you're a Jaguars fan.
I just got a twinkle in my eye when you said that, because when you break it up into two categories, I would put Minshew in the category of elevating.
He does, yeah.
And we haven't seen that. Listen, even when Garrard was here, David was here, he wasn't the elevator.
Yeah.
He was more game manager.
Yeah. Well, because you had Maurice Jones-Drew too as well.
Yeah, you had other guys, but still, you weren't asking David to do a lot.
Sure.
They're going to ask Minshew to do quite a bit and perform well. Now, what's interesting about that is I feel like he's an elevator from a buy-in standpoint from his teammates, from a leadership standpoint, which you saw in the locker room if you went and visited Jaguars.com, that you could tell, I mean, this is his team. And you can tell, I mean, it's quickly become his team. What I don't know yet is, can he elevate what a lot of those good quarterbacks do, a lot of guys do, is they throw it and make and elevate.
Of course.
He elevates a lot with his feet, with his keeping plays alive, with his smarts. I'm not sure I would put him in the category of elevating with his arm.
Sure.
That would be a next step. Now, when you throw a 19 for 20, he elevated okay with the arm, and he elevated in crunch time, third downs, fourth quarters. So, again, you don't have to. You can do it in a variety of ways. But when I need a play, and I think people have said this the last couple of days, I don't mind the ball in Gardner Minshew's hands. That's a good feeling.
And this is why Tom Brady will always be the GOAT. It's because his ability in New England to elevate the players around him, right? Chris Hogan goes into the New York Jets. Good luck with that. Danny Amendola, I don't know where you are anymore. Gronk, I mean, you're back in Tampa, so we'll see with that. And Julian Edelman's still there in New England. But it always seemed like regardless of who was playing receiver, regardless if it was some juke transfer who played quarterback, so now he's finding himself Patriots, whatever the reason was, Tom Brady was always able to elevate the guys around him, and that's what made him so great. You didn't need this high-priced free agents. Yeah, you got Randy Moss for a little bit. You went after Antonio Brown, but did you really need those guys? Because at the end of the day, you had probably the best quarterback throwing you the ball, and that's what great quarterbacks do. Aaron Rodgers, same example. Yeah, you have Devontae Adams, fantastic wide receiver, but then you have Alan Lazard, who couldn't even make it on the Jaguars, right? You have Geronimo Allison, or you had Geronimo Allison. You had Kumro for a while. My friend back home in Iowa, Wisconsin right now, substitute teacher, went against Kumro, shut him down. 2 catches for Stevens Point. Guess what? Kumro goes to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers makes him almost a Pro Bowler. So that's my point. Where you have these special guys that can elevate the talent, you got something there. And we'll see. Minshew right now is on the right track to do that. Can he sustain it? Time will tell.
Yeah, while I wouldn't put him in that, I think there's categories of elevation. I'm not putting him there, but I think you're right. If you break the league into, hey, elevates and needs help, I think Minshew's more the elevator.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. That's a great thought. Love it. Minshew mania, even continuing on a Tuesday.
So let's go ahead and trademark that elevator real quick, too.
The elevator? The Minshew elevator?
Let's go ahead and trademark that real quick. Yeah. Let's go ahead and lock up everything
We need an attorney.
Just sitting right here in a typewriter. All right, go and lock that one in.
we need somebody that knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
When we come back, let's talk more football. I want to talk teams a little bit. Would you be alarmed if you were a fan base of X team? Okay. Or are you now like, heck yeah, baby, let's go. This is who we thought you were.
I like it.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
And I'm not going to lie, and I know this is by design from the show, but I did not like how we didn't talk about Kyler Murray that last segment for Elevate. Okay? Didn't like it whatsoever.
But they might be in the team conversation coming up.
Okay, that's a good point. DeAndre Hopkins is pretty good in case you didn't know.
Can you imagine if you got DJ Chark. We don't need DeAndre Hopkins.
Can you imagine my team losing a game this season because I can't for fantasy football? It's a shame.
You have DeAndre Hopkins?
I'm in another league, no. But I have Kyler Murray.
Oh, God, I was terrible.
I did good, but I just not.
Josh
If
Jacobs,
Michael Thomas gets me 3 points, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you
All right?
are.
That's my first pick.
Yeah. He's making too much money to get you 3 points per week.
Come on, Michael.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back on ESPN 690. More NFL talk. Who's good? Who's not?
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A mix of sun and clouds today, along with some scattered showers. Highs will be in the 80s, dropping into the low to mid 70s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Hurry! It's the last time you'll get 5 years, 0 interest this year.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence. Or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinsky, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
End of summer savings have been extended.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beards Diamonds. They have the largest selection and the lowest prices. And now with their 5-year 0 interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Yes, save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. It'll be your last chance to take advantage of 5 years 0 interest in 2020.
It's a great time to splurge on that $12,000 3-stone ring and pay just $200 a month.
Impress her with a bigger diamond engagement ring, a $6,000 setting from just $100 a month.
Or how about $3,000 diamond stud earrings, only $50 a month?
Get the absolute lowest prices Beards is known for. 5 years, 0 interest is about to end, so hurry.
Beards Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in, see the difference, save thousands.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Donato's Pizza is proud to support the Florida State Seminoles. When it comes to pizza for game time, we can suit any taste. From 100 pepperonis on a large loaded edge-to-edge on smoked provolone and Romano, to our delicious and healthy cauliflower crust tomato bruschetta with plant-based sausage, to mariachi chicken, to the founder's favorite, and more. We offer a convenient pickup window or prompt delivery. Just give Donato's a try. That's all we ask. Order at 904donatos.com or call 904-DONATOS on your phone.
Sometimes you go to a place and you just feel at home. That's the way it is at the golf course at Southampton, and you can make it your home course. Membership program starting at just $79. The brand new practice facility has been a huge hit. It's a fun course, player-friendly course, so get your buddies, your friends, go play some golf and have some fun at the golf club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Shack Stream 18 golf tournament, and it can be your home course as well. For information on memberships, call 904-287-PLAY. That's 904-287-PLAY.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. It's Diamonds Direct's most aggressive offer ever. Pick any item, get the super low price Diamonds Direct is known for, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest and zero down. No exceptions. Don't miss this incredible limited time offer. 5 years, zero interest on approved credit only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter Update.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags' victory on Sunday left everyone feeling good. Unfortunately, it also put starting safety Gerard Wilson on IR with a hamstring. In response, the Jags are bringing up Sidney Jones from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster. On Monday Night Football, the Titans eked out a win against the Denver Broncos, and Big Ben returned to the NFL after missing almost all of last season. Roethlisberger and the Steelers bested the Giants 26-16. He threw 3 touchdowns and no picks in his return, and here are his thoughts.
I told the guys in the locker room before the game that the reason I came back is because of them. I don't need to accomplish anything personally anymore. It's about being with a defense that I think is as good as any that I've ever played with, skill guys that are young and fun to play with, and then, of course, my line, who I love to death and they love me.
You're working from home and you want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker, play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Shacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
I want you to put yourself in Leonard Fournette's shoes. Probably a little bigger shoes than you're rocking right now. Shocker, you're wearing sandals, and that's all good, though.
Brent Martineau.
Well, you are too. They're just like, I mean, they're just like, look like
might
Vans.
as well be. I might as well be.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Gardner Minshew comes out and he balls. I mean, my dude does his thing. Gardner, an absolute beast. 19 for 20, 173, 3 TDs, and 0 interceptions. And I know we can joke about the cutoff jean shorts and the mustache and the headband and, you know, his statements and him making fun of himself. But you know what's not a joke? No, his leadership. Like, when he talks about football, when he talks about how much he loves the game, that's not funny. And I feel that. As a football player, as a wide receiver, I want to be in the huddle with that dude. Forget that. I want to be in an alley with that dude because I know that he's going to give everything that he got.
That is Nate Burleson, NFL Network. I like that.
I like it. I mean, listen, Nate Burleson's kind of like the it guy right now in terms of football, like you know, like media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, him and me.
Well, him and you. Well, you still call it the Graham, but it is what it is.
Dilla.
Yeah, and Dilla as well.
Yeah. Where are you on that list?
Hey, man, I'm just trying to do my own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Pimping beard softener.
It's. I didn't say the brand of it, so relax a little bit. And I don't know if you can actually say that word on radio, so you might get a call now. Congratulations.
Can I say that?
Probably not.
Beard softener?
No.
Yeah. Did I say pumping?
Starts with a P.
I
Rhymes
think I
with
said
limp.
pumping.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever.
Did I misspeak?
Yeah, you might have misspoke a little bit. Button?
Get the apology letter.
We got a button or not? No.
Nah, it's about
we're
past
too late
8
now. We
seconds.
got 8 seconds to
All right,
pull
well,
that. We didn't pull the trigger.
Brent said a bad word. It's all good though.
Apology letter is ready.
Yeah. But no. To answer your question, hey man, I'm not concerned about the accolade. I'm not concerned about the likes or the followers. I'm just trying to do me.
Gardner Minshew, man.
Yeah, what about him?
Again, I just I like that what Burleson said because it's kind of what Burleson said is if you go back again, it's the second day in a row. PCAV and Dave DeCandis, I'm pumping your Jaguars.com up. Don't you forget it.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the post game, I think that said a lot to me, man. That post game about I kind of knew it. I know they're bought in, but it really hit us yesterday. It's like, when was the last time somebody's been bought in? The whole locker room's been bought in to a QB in this town. I don't think you can underestimate that. I don't think you can understate that. That is real. Like, they are bought in. That does not mean they're right. It does not mean he's here for 12 years. All those things. You can couch that. But I'm just saying right now in the here and now, they're all in on number 15, and I think it showed in that locker room. And I like what Burleson said there because, like you, he's been in locker rooms, and there's something to that. Like he said, listen, would you really bring Gardner Minshew to an alley? I mean, he's 6 foot tall and 200 whatever pounds. Yeah. I'd bring Greg Jones to the alley, okay?
Yeah. I would bring Gardner Minshew to the bar to, like, you know, have fun and have a good time. I mean, I bet Minshew can hold his own, though, but yeah, I'm bringing Greg Jones.
But his point is a good one. They want to go to battle with him.
That's the most important part.
And they got his back. Ben Roethlisberger said it yesterday. Did you see him after the game?
That's why he came back.
Why he came back is like, you know, I really like these guys, and they like me. Like, he wasn't afraid to say it. He wasn't saying it like, hey, they like me. I mean, but he said they're bought in. You can tell. Man, it's just those are different things that we haven't seen. I just think we'll see how it manifests. We'll see how it plays out. But I just think those are different things that we haven't had a chance to talk about around here in a truthful way. I mean, you can kind of wish and hope and blind faith it. But that's real, I think, in that building right now with him.
But it's really cool, too, because that's something that you can't fabricate. That's something that you can't fake. Either guys want to roll with you or not. But the last thing you can do is put on this facade and say, all right, guys, come follow me. I'll lead us to the promised land. No, man, you have to earn that. You have to earn those stripes. And for a guy to come, you know, from the 6th round, play in a handful of games last year, now be the starting quarterback, and to kind of earn that respect of the locker room, it really says a lot to his character. Because I'll be honest, I mean, I don't know how they feel about Sam Darnold right now, but I have a feeling there's some guys in that team that are like, Sam Darnold, I don't know. But I think everybody now in that locker room, and regardless of what you heard with the past veterans that got let go, regardless of that, everybody in that locker room now seems like Gardner Minshew is the guy. And, they'd follow him in a battle any day of the week.
I'm going to get to, because we're on this topic, I was going to get to it a little bit later, but let's just do it right now. What you just said is an interesting one. And I love the comparison because Sam Darnold, some people might be like, yeah, I'm not so sure. But I can tell you this they're not so sure about, and that's Adam Gase. There's no doubt in that locker room they're whispering, right? Yeah. And you know they are. They're more than whispering on talk radio in New York.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that brings me to, okay, they're bought in on Minshew. This is a team that's close-knit. How bought in is everybody on Marone?
Yeah.
In that room, in that building. And how bought, I don't want to say bought in, but how much are people here in this town after that game? Again, we can over-exaggerate things right now. It's the time for hyperbole. It's been one game. But how much are in this town are people like, let's see if these guys maybe knew more than we gave them credit for talking about because it played out that way in week one.
Yeah, when you take away the Brandon Linders, the Andrew Norwells, the Avery Joneses, the Miles Jacks, the Joe Schoberts, the Adam Gotsis a little bit, the guys that have been, either on different teams or been around in the Jaguars for a while, you take those guys out of the equation and you look at the youngest team in the NFL, that could be an advantage from Doug Marone's standpoint, just because a lot of these guys, it's their first, second year, right? So they don't really know any better, right? Like, they don't necessarily know what that winning tradition, that winning culture is like, or what even a good head coach is like, right? Like, I didn't know how good Andy Reid was until, I had some other coaches. Now, I think Jack Del Rio is a great coach, things like that. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but, I played on 4 different teams. I went to Kansas City. I was like, that's what the culture should be. Like, that's what makes
what it's supposed to look like.
That's what makes a great coach. Right now, and listen, ignorance can be bliss sometimes, but there's not a lot of guys in this team who have been on other teams, who know any other way. And they're high-quality character guys where it's like, I'll follow you just because it's my job. It's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to have an ego with it. I'm not going to, speak out against it. I'm just going to do my job to the best of my abilities. So when you have a lot of those guys on the team, and then you have an Avery Jones and a Miles Jack, who I think for the most part buy into Doug Marone.
Oh, yeah.
You have a combination where it's like, you know what? Doug could be our guy going forward.
Yeah, let's be honest, okay? The optics of this at times look like, hey, if you're not bought in, I'm getting rid of you, and I don't care if you're a good player or not.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, you still got to have good players to win.
Correct.
So it felt like that. But now that it turned out that, at least for a week, that you beat a pretty good team, okay? This wasn't the Jags beating the Bengals or the Dolphins. This is a team that's supposed to be pretty established and good. And that's why I think you can ask these questions. And now, again, we'll see where it goes. They're not going 16-0, not doing these crazy things. But I just think, at least we have hammered these guys, and the town has hammered them and wanted them out, and everybody else. Do you give them a little bit of credit for saying, you know what? Sometimes you got to do things that are a little bit out of the ordinary to fix it. Mm-hmm. And getting rid of some of these guys was out of the ordinary. I mean, it was the momentum going into the season just based on the moves of the 2 weeks prior. We're like, what in the world? Yeah. Again, I continue to say it. I'm not lying. I had 3, 4, 5 people call me, text me, or everybody I saw, and it wasn't even, hey, Brent, it was, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. That was the vibe. And they won the first game with what they did. So you brought it up earlier, that Pittsburgh stuff. Get rid of some of that, the folks that might not be all bought in, even if they might be pretty good. And by the way, they might not be as good as you think they are. Le'Veon Bell hasn't done anything since he left Pittsburgh.
Let's give Le'Veon Bell some credit, though, too. It wasn't necessarily he didn't buy in. He wanted more money.
He wanted, yes.
Okay, so
it didn't
it
work
wasn't like
out
he was a distraction. He was a locker room cancer. I don't think that was the case. I just think he wanted more money.
They made a business decision.
Yeah.
And which happens, based on his position especially.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Antonio Brown gone later on. Like, I like the comp there, and then the confidence to say, we got this guy that actually looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. You don't know him, but he looks pretty good, and James Conner does a good job, and he's now established himself as banged up, and he's on my fantasy team, but that's a different story. They also have the Juju Smith-Schusters, and so they drafted well. And so I just think to see that and rip the Band-Aid off and for it to at least play out in 1 week and look like, okay, now we see potentially you're better with some of the subtraction, even though the resumes don't look it.
Yeah.
On paper, you don't look it. I think you got to give them a little credit for that. I don't know how much. I really don't. And I do say this. Based on what we saw in August, and I don't think you can have as many guys make plays as young players and be that fluky in 1 week. Mm-hmm. They've got some talent in what they drafted. I mean, there's no doubt they have some talent in what they drafted.
Sure.
They might not be here to bring it to fruition and see where it lands. They might not. You know, I'm not the guy that thinks they're guaranteed 2021. So, but they found some pretty good players, it looks like, in this draft. They had a lot of picks, but they found some pretty good players. 9 of them played at least a snap on Sunday.
And that's the most important part. Can they be the replacements of the guys that have left? Can they take the next step forward and make us forget about, Jalen Ramsey? Can they make us forget about Yannick Ngakoue? Can they make us forget about Leonard Fournette? Can they do that? Because if you can do that, then you're on point once again with the Steelers. And listen, I don't want to say, well, James Connors, James Robinson. I want to do all that. But I'm just saying, and let's think about it one more time here. They lost the best running back in the NFL. They lost the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, Pittsburgh 2018-19, yeah.
And I didn't hear anybody say there's a culture problem right now in Pittsburgh. There's a front office problem. There's a head coach problem in Pittsburgh. It was just all speed ahead. Look what happened in Houston this year so far. What happened with Bill O'Brien when DeAndre Hopkins got sent to Arizona? Everyone's saying, well, Bill O'Brien's absolutely lost his mind. What are the Houston Texans doing? Get him out of there. I mean, it was the best show on Twitter, I'm telling you. Well, we'll see how this pans out now, but you saw that blowback. You saw that reaction just from one trade. The Steelers, man, they never got that. And it goes to show you the culture, the head coach, and everybody being on the same page.
Well, and the hardest thing to do is build that culture. See, what I think where maybe these guys deserve more credit than we've given them and they get. Again, we can do this here on Tuesday after a win. We might not do it next Tuesday, and I'm aware of that. I'm aware we shouldn't get carried. But this is at least the time to give them some credit and to try to build whatever culture might exist for the next few years. The Jags have a bad culture. They have a losing culture. They have not won. They don't have what the Steelers have. They don't have what the Patriots have. They don't have what Seattle has. They don't. And so how do you get there? Well, sometimes it has to take a bit of guts to say, you know what? Most people would give Jan whatever he wants. Most people would keep Leonard Fournette because of the resume. Most people would keep Nick Foles just in case. Whatever it is. I don't know. Most people wouldn't give up on Ronnie Harrison when he could be going into his best year because he's only played 2. You still have to have some courage to be able to do that and conviction that we've got the guys here and we're confident even though we never saw them play a preseason game. Yeah. And we practiced for 3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, that was it. So, again, I can say this right now because it worked for a week. We might be ripping them for doing it in 3 weeks. We really might.
And and the biggest difference between the Jaguars and the Steelers and what the comparison that we've been trying to do here is if you go back and look at the history, the past 2 years now, the Jaguars, there's been a lot more incidents than the Steelers had, right? Like you had Bell make a business decision, and it is what it is. And you had Antonio Brown go on his tirade, but everybody else in the locker room seemed pretty happy. Well, we had Jalen Ramsey being unhappy. We had Yannick Ngakoue being unhappy. There's Dante Fowler unhappy with like the whole grievance gate and all that stuff. So there was a lot more going. Telvin Smith. So there was a lot more going on in terms of the culture than the Steelers had. Let's just say.
Yeah, I still think this is a long view thing. You know my opinion on it. I think. But what they're trying to, it might be for the next guy. It might be for the next regime, might be for the next people. But maybe they made the moves that were necessary, and we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. For sure. Tony says, huge credit. They found undrafted rookie running back, started him, won't look back. Chenault's going to be an absolute steal. A.B. Kelly says, this is why our media is team-driven. They don't have to prove anything. Win one game and all the BS they've done in the past is erased. Yep, they proved us all wrong, Brent. Kelly, you did not listen. A.B., I know you're always after me on this stuff, but you did not listen to the entire conversation. That's apparent.
Get him.
First Coast Bubbler, credit for doing what you're paid to do. Fair enough.
You? Or who are you talking about?
No, for Carlo Marone. They're paid to make the right decisions. Well, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We judge him weekly. All right, we got to go. When we come back, Allen Robinson, should he get paid? And where do the Jaguars receivers rank, including D.D. Westbrook? It's at 5 o'clock on ESPN 690.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Land of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed.
What's like the concept?
It's like mini games that you kind of compete battle royale style, but it's mini games and you just try to, be the last one standing essentially.
Let me try this again. So what is the concept?
It'll be
English. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
The ride you want, the savings you need. Oh, and when it comes to credit approval, almost everyone gets approved. Sounds like it's time to get it all and get to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. Finding the best ride starts with big-time selection. And at Arlington Toyota, you'll find over 750 new and pre-owned on the lot every day. Right now at Arlington, shop over 100 quality pre-owned cars to buy at $0 down and just $199 a month. Looking for a truck or SUV? Arlington's got 50 quality pre-owned trucks and SUVs to buy at $0 down and $269 a month. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. Now, when I say get it all at Arlington, I mean it, because you'll get a 30-day exchange policy with your purchase. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Just another way that Arlington goes the extra mile for you. Get it all when you shop pre-owned at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Want a party? Here's an invitation. The team at CGC Water is throwing a party, and you're invited. 50 years ago, Connecticut innovated water treatment with their non-electric twin tank softeners, and they are celebrating with you. Come on out Saturday, September 26th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Celebrate with huge savings on salt and get 50% off Connecticut filters. There will be hourly drawings for great prizes, and there will be music out there as well. The team will be available to answer any questions, and they want to welcome you to the Connecticut family. Safety guidelines will be adhered to ensure all attendees enjoy the day in a safe, healthy environment. Visit 2181 St. John's Bluff Road South, right here in Jacksonville, Saturday, September 26th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and celebrate 50 years of providing customers with safe, clean, purified drinking water. If you are not filtering your water, you are the filter. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Been dreaming of subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com. When you shop the 904, you're helping local businesses right here on the First Coast. And it keeps our local economy going. That means jobs. 2020 has been a really tough year, especially for locally owned businesses. And you can make a difference when you shop local. So if you live in St. John's, Duval, Baker, Clay, Nassau, or surrounding counties, shop local. Shop the 904.
Shop the 904.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on theirs. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years, servicing Jacksonville to St. Augustine and Ponte with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. When your appliances quit, we're ready to get started. For quality repair at a price that's fair, visit AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. Don't miss the hottest deal of the year. For September, we're going back in time to 16 years ago. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $99. Give us a call at Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
When you shop the 904, you're helping local businesses right here on the First Coast. Most of the money stays right here in our community. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904.
It's the best offer ever at Diamonds Direct. 5 years, 0 interest financing. And this weekend, the focus is on Viraggio. Handcrafted in New York, Viraggio is the only bridal designer that allows you to truly personalize your ring from the inside out. We've flown in the entire Viraggio collection for this special event. So come and express your individual style this Friday and Saturday. Discover the Viraggio difference and enjoy 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct.
You've worked hard all your life. Retirement worries shouldn't get in the way, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. But many Americans are finding that retiring on a fixed income is hard. BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website from the National Council on Aging. With just a few clicks, you can see if you qualify for thousands of dollars to pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. BenefitsCheckup.org. You've earned this. This message is supported by the Administration for Community Living.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And now that it's back, we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
This is the Frells family. They live on a piece of land they call greener pasture, and they work on it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. With its durable construction and features that hook up to dozens of attachments with ease, no job is too tough. The Frells family runs with us, because this is more than just land, it's home. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi with breaking news. Major League Baseball has postponed tonight's scheduled game between the Giants and Mariners due to air quality issues in Seattle. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports the question going forward is how the West Coast fires will affect games down the stretch. NFL, the Jets placed running back Le'Veon Bell on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. He'll miss at least 3 games. NBA, a winner-take-all game 7 tonight. Nuggets-Clippers, 9 Eastern, ESPN TV. If the Clippers are to advance to their first-ever West Finals, they need to clamp down on one Denver player in particular, advises Archene Agwumike.
They got to slow down Jokic, because Jokic, he's averaging 27, 11, and 6 in elimination games, 6 and 1 in those games. So if I'm thinking about, this matchup, I'm thinking about slowing him down because he has been a tough matchup for Montrezl Harrell and their big Zubats included.
Chene with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti this morning. Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta told CNBC Daryl Morey's job as general manager is safe. There'd been speculation about his job security since his tweet about Hong Kong in October damaged the NBA's and team's business relationship with China.
With thousands of locally owned Napa stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, they do too. So whether you stop by a local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa Auto Care Center, or visit Napa online, you can count on Napa know-how.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Yeah. So DJs, that was kind of a low-high read on the corner. We had Leviska in the flat. Where if the corner got any depth, we'd throw it to him and hope that he's going to go run somebody over. Or if he bit up, that we'd be able to throw a touchdown to DJ. And then the one to Keelan, man, that was great play design by Coach Gruden. He kind of snuck out the back door and was wide open. Those the ones he loved to throw.
That's what I like to hear, because I thought so. I thought those were 2 well-designed plays. Yep. What I didn't understand completely as it was happening was there was actually an option to throw it to Chenault. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought he was pretty much a disguise there, a decoy.
Yep.
And the fake to go to DJ. But I love both of those touchdown plays. I mean, and if you go to the third touchdown, the one by Chenault, not the third in sequential order, but the other touchdown we're not talking about, a reminder that Tyler Eifert was wide open too. They had 2 options. So on the 3 touchdowns, they looked like really good design plays to get people open, bottom line.
Yeah. Well, and I love the option part of that, right? Because you know what that means, Brent? It means that Jay Gruden has trust in his quarterback. Anytime you throw an option route in there, it's like, hey, Gardner, I trust your vision. I trust your instincts. You go where you think you should go in this route, right? Sometimes you see quarterbacks who are super young where it's like, all right, you look here. If that's covered up, you look over here. If that's covered up, throw the ball away, right? Like they don't have a lot of freedom. It seems like hearing Jay Gruden talk there, or hearing Gardner Minshew talk there, but about that offense, it seems like there's a lot of freedom in place, which is a good sign in having trust in your quarterback.
You know what was interesting? I felt like that Gardner got to several reads on plays.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel that too?
Yeah.
And by the way, when you get into several reads, he was still completing passes.
I mean, listen,
because he only missed one.
He got to several reads, but also he is to the point now where he's checking down. Like, he's not checking down, but he's like looking off the numbers, right? Like he's using his eyes now. So like if you're a corner, if you're a safety, if you're a linebacker, you watch where the quarterback's looking, right? And usually where the quarterback's looking, where the ball's going to go. You saw it with Philip Rivers twice, where he just literally stared down his receiver the whole time, interceptions. Gardner Minshew's now, he's playing mind games, Brent. Right, like he's living rent free right now in Colts defenders' heads because he's looking at one receiver and all of a sudden he looks back down and throws to the real target. Like that's a savvy veteran move right there.
Absolutely.
Like it.
Hey, Allen Robinson apparently has done the new athlete thing.
I can't wait till I can do this to ESPN 690 after my contract's up. I'm just gonna take all my ESPN 690 stuff off.
Take it off the social. It seems like a lot of work.
I know.
It seems like way too much work.
And then someone's got to notice it too, right?
So they took off Instagram and Allen Robinson, and now let's see. Did I miss the part that he asked for a trade? So Chicago Tribune says Allen Robinson didn't just remove the Bears from his social media accounts. He asked to be traded. How about that?
Wow.
After week 1 of the season. Interesting.
Dang.
Robinson, final year of a 3-year, $42 million deal, which by the way, I'm a big fan of A-Rob. But I will say this, and Allen, I think, has performed, right, that contract, and he lived up to the contract. But you got to give credit to Chicago, too. Chicago threw him a lot of money coming off an ACL. I mean, that's a chance, man.
That was a gamble.
Doing a $14 million a year contract for a guy that, listen, he had good seasons, no doubt, but he was coming off an ACL.
Yeah.
He wasn't Odell Beckham Jr. in terms of name, stature, or Julio Jones. I mean, he wasn't that guy in terms of the NFL.
But he's still a quality one receiver. Right?
Yeah,
like he didn't do himself any favors playing here in Jacksonville. Let's be honest. For the time that he was here, he wasn't that household
name.
Because
I wish they kept him.
Yeah.
So that's why, again, I like A-Rob. I'm just saying, this organization, Chicago, I don't know the divide, right? You don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But they took a chance on him and gave him a pretty healthy contract. And to his credit, he lived up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And now he wants out because he doesn't have a new deal.
San Fran.
How interesting timing for this, right? Is that kind of weird timing after week 1? They come back and win a game, and then all of a sudden you take everything down.
Yeah.
Two thoughts. Let's get on the A-Rob thing in a moment. But I actually have this social media stuff. Do you think it's actually coached up now by the agents and marketing people?
Man.
Really, by the agents? It's happening all the time. I mean, Ramsey did it. He's not the only one. It feels like, okay, you know what I call it. I mean, I think it's 7th and 8th grade kind of stuff. And it's unbelievable.
We share that same opinion.
It's like, is this really a thing? Like, are we living in a real world? Like, in a job where you make $15 million a year, we're showing our displeasure by taking our unfollowing the team you play for?
Listen.
Like, that is a thing. Again, I'm a big fan of A-Rob. I think this is just like the new wave of, it's part of the ploy. I think it's part of the plan. Show your displeasure. Unfollow them. Get people talking. Then go ask for the trade. All this stuff. It's like part of the great escape now if you're an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I honestly hope that that's not the case, right? Like, I hope that there aren't agents out there and PR people saying, all right, well, they're not going to give you your money. So you know what it is now? Plan B. Let's go ahead and go on that Twitter, Alan. Let's go ahead and go on Instagram and delete everything. And then meanwhile, you have some conspiracy theorist NFL Bears fan that's like Al Pacino and Serpico, where it's like, I got to analyze everything. Did you see this? He just deleted all his Bears stuff. I got to alert the authorities immediately. Someone does that. Someone.
But I think they tipped Al Pacino off is my point. I think this is part of the two-step plan or something. I mean,
listen,
this is
man,
crazy.
I don't know what would disappoint me more, I guess. I don't know if I'd be more disappointed in the fact that the agencies are the ones that are responsible, or if this new modern era NFL athlete thinks that he's really going to stick it to his current team when he unfollows them and takes down all the pictures that they had together. Like, dude, this isn't. And once again, I love Allen Robinson, man. Don't get it twisted.
Listen, I'm a big fan of A-Rob.
Yeah.
Really am. I think this is more broader picture. This isn't just about A-Rob. It's happening so many times that this unfollow and all this stuff that it's like, I feel like it's part of the modern day agent.
But like,
whatever,
this is like high school. You broke up with your girlfriend, and now you're trying to like delete everything.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
But it gets people talking.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean?
I guess my mom asked me what was going on when I did that. Maybe. I don't know, man. It's just, to me, it's petty stuff. Will it get any results? I don't know. We're talking about it, so congratulations. I guess mission accomplished. But man, like, I could just. Listen, I always try to understand the modern era NFL athlete, Brent, the modern athlete in general, but this is one thing that I just can't come around on.
Let me ask you this about A-Rob. Again, big Allen Robinson fan, and he's lived up. Listen, look what he's done. I mean, 548 yards his rookie year, but then he goes that big monster year, right? 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, which was just tremendous. I think I saw today CBS Sports tweeted out, only player in the game, active receiver that's done that. 1,414.
And he's
and
done
think about all the receivers in the game.
Correct. And he's done in Chicago now, too, with a quarterback who hasn't been
He's done it
par.
really his entire career with a lack of quarterback play, let's be honest. 883 yards and 6 touchdowns in 16. Then he obviously goes out on like the first play, essentially, in 17. And since then in Chicago, he's got 55 catches, 754, 4 touchdowns, 98 catches last year, another 1,000-yard receiving year, and 7 touchdowns. So he's had 2 unbelievable years, really, and other really good years. Like, where in the pantheon of receivers is A-Rob? You know, the one thing I noticed, and Kuz said this too, when we were doing our fantasy football draft, it strikes you how many receivers are in the game.
Yeah.
Like good receivers. Yep. Now, there's the upper echelon guys, no doubt. But then there are a lot of quality receivers that could become those guys.
Sure.
And shoot, if you're not 3 deep at your receiving core, you're behind.
Correct.
Right now. I mean, 3 legit deep, too, not just a body. So, I mean, A-Rob, where does he fit? I mean, he's a 3-year, $42 million guy. Has he tacked on to that?
See, I honestly, and I'm trying to be unbiased as possible here, but I think he has, because unfortunately, you know how it works as a wide receiver. You're only as good as your quarterback allows you to be, okay? When Allen Robinson was in Jacksonville and Blake Bortles was throwing those jump balls, I mean, they weren't the most perfect throws, but Allen Robinson showed his ability to go up there and get it. Like, how many 50-50 balls did we see Allen Robinson win in Jacksonville? It was like on a
was
daily,
unbelievable.
It was like on a.
It was like every play.
It was a weekly basis.
It felt like every play.
One. Exactly. It was on a weekly basis. And then
he's doing the same in Chicago.
He's doing the same in Chicago, but he's also like, listen, that offense last year for Chicago, it was abysmal. Okay, it was an embarrassment. And you have a head coach with Matt Nagy who comes from an offensive minded philosophy, and they weren't getting the job done. And one could argue, I mean, is Mitchell Trubisky right on the same echelon of Blake Bortles, right? I mean, now he had a good first game that Trubisky did. We'll see if he can continue that. But when you're bringing Nick Foles in to try to replace you, I don't know how good you really are. So I guess I feel a little bad for Allen Robinson, because even in Chicago, even in a big market, he's still not that household name just because he's played with quarterbacks. Like, you want to say, like, Leonard Fournette, if I get to play with a real quarterback? I think Allen Robinson wants to say. You think he wants to say, hey, I want to play with a real quarterback for once and see what that's all about?
I'm going to give you the top.
Sorry, to answer your question, I would put him top 10 for sure, an argument for a top 8.
Okay, well, he wants a new deal. I get it because this is his final year. But he is paid top 10. 2020 receivers. You got Julio Jones, $22 million.
Better
Amari
than
Cooper, $20.
Yeah,
we're getting Amari Cooper in a moment.
Yeah.
AJ Green, $17.86, and he's not the old AJ Green.
But that's the franchise tag, though, speaking for.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Mike Evans. Mike Evans be considered, right, better receiver. You take Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Most people would.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, 16.29. T.Y. Hilton, 14.5. See,
I'd take Allen Robinson all day over T.Y. Hilton, I think.
I feel like I would, too. And Hilton is pretty darn good. But Odell Beckham's making 14. Odell Beckham's sliding, too, man.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry's making 13.
I would take Allen Robinson probably over him.
Would you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Devontae Adams is 12.8.
No, I'm sick. I think Adams.
And in between is Allen Robinson. Allen's 13.
Where's Adam Thielen on that?
I don't know.
Okay.
That was just the top 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
What's interesting here, I'm going to give you a 4-year career totals. Nope. I'm going to give you career totals over 2, 4, 6 years. Yeah, so they've been in the league pretty much the same amount of time. Amari Cooper has 367 catches for 5,100 yards in his career. That's 14 yards per catch, 33 touchdowns.
Yep.
Allen Robinson has 360 for 48.23, so a shade below, 13.4 yards a catch, so shade below, and exactly 33 touchdowns. And that guy's making $20 million a year. Yeah. So if I'm Allen Robinson,
and he's played with a lot better players around. I mean, a lot better offenses too.
And if I'm Allen Robinson, I'm looking around, being like, well, that guy's making 20.
Yeah.
I mean, where was Michael Thomas on that list, by the way?
Oh, well, he's got to be top now. He's number 1 after that new deal, right?
Yeah, but maybe it's just the way it's spread out in 2020. I looked up 2020 highest paid receivers.
Okay.
But yeah, Michael Thomas is in that conversation
Mm-hmm.
in terms of by year at least. So he's got, if Amari Cooper's got, what, was that a 5-year, $100 million deal?
Yeah.
I mean, Allen Robinson is...
Well, and once again, look at who's Cooper. I mean, Cooper played in Oakland back when they had, I think Gruden was there, and then Derek Carr.
Might have been before Gruden, but Carr had a good year in there.
And then obviously you're in Dallas now, where they have a lot
Cooper's
of firepower.
Been highly inconsistent.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
He has big games, and then he fades.
I mean, I don't think Jerry Jones had a choice to keep everybody together, especially what he gave up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, he's overpaid. Like, if I was a GM, I'm not sure I'd be willing to give Allen Robinson $20 million a year.
Yeah, listen.
But the fact that Cooper signed one elevated the pricing.
Listen, if I'm Allen Robinson, and I know dang well that I'm probably not going to get my cash here in Chicago, I am definitely requesting a trade then. I'm getting out, man, because I'm going to die here in Chicago. Like, to be fair, the wide receiver, they depend on what? They depend on receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Is he going to get all those there in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky throwing the ball? Probably not. So the least you can do for him then is, listen, if I'm Allen Robinson, I'm not getting paid, let me go someplace where I can get paid. Let me go to San Francisco, play at a high-powered offense, and let Jimmy G throw me some catches. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, listen, and then once again, regardless of what Bears fans think it's a distraction, all this stuff, you guys won the game, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I get that point. But Allen Robinson right now is making a business decision. And he's saying either you pay me here in Chicago, or if you don't, I'm not going to get paid anywhere else because I can't get the stats here. You guys don't let me. You guys are not setting me up for success. So with that being said, then let me go be successful someplace else and let me show my worth. There's nothing worse than to a football player that cannot show his worth because the environment that he's in doesn't allow him to do that.
Yeah, and I could see it from his point of view. It's really interesting. I almost want to ask the question, but I think it's too early to tell. Like, would you rather have DJ Chark or Allen Robinson? But it's kind of early to tell. I mean, listen, DJ did it for 1 year. Allen Robinson's now had 6-7 years in the league.
Yeah.
I think you got to see a little bit more. I don't know. Do you see something from a skill set standpoint? It's like, okay, I mean, the upside of Chark, given what we've seen now, looks pretty darn high.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it comes down to youth versus experience, and it comes down to the injury history, a little bit of Allen Robinson with that ACL.
Yeah, it's just the 1 year, though.
Yeah, I know. But if you ask me right now who I would take to build a franchise with, I mean, you almost got to go Chark, right? You have to go with the younger
just
guy.
because he's younger. That's why I don't know if it's a fair comparison.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think there's enough sample size on Chark to do that. So he's the number one guy for Chicago. Allen Robinson is. He's the number one guy for Jacksonville. DJ Chark is.
But let me ask you this though: who do you think has a better shot at being number one someplace?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think of it. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he. Well, probably Allen.
Yeah.
Right now. That's why I think Chark has more to prove before you would say you'd go to another team and bump somebody out of the way. Like if you bring Amari Cooper's a great example, okay? If you bring DJ Chark to Dallas, Amari Cooper's probably still the number one guy, right? No doubt.
Correct.
If you bring Allen Robinson to Dallas,
you might have a competition.
Might be, so I think that probably answers the question as of right now.
There you go.
You know, it's a fair shake. Speaking of the Jaguars wide receivers, DJ Chark, no doubt the number one guy, and continues to blossom. Man, just looks the part. Doesn't he look smooth? This is like, you talk about trust and you want a guy to make a play. I feel like give him the ball. Like almost couldn't get him the ball enough. And that becomes a part of this for Jay Gruden. He had 20 pass attempts did Minshew, and he completed 19. 10 different receivers caught the ball. So I'm not saying people are going to get mad at that. Everybody's got to get theirs. But it also is like Chark might not have this huge year because is he going to get 10 targets in a game? You know, that's part of it at that position.
Yeah.
Jaguars have a lot of places to go. After Chark, what's the order of receiver? So you got Shenault, Conley, Keelan Cole, who really has emerged.
Yeah.
And somewhere along there was a healthy scratch D.D. Westbrook.
You know what?
And Colin Johnson, who, for this part of the conversation, I'm going to put Colin Johnson at the back end.
Yeah.
Although he did play and D.D. Westbrook did not.
Yeah.
So if you want to slide him around, you're more than welcome to. But who follows DJ Chark in the order if you were to rank him 2, 3, 4 wide receiver?
Listen, here's the thing, and this is a great problem to have. Because I can make arguments for Leviska Shenault. I can make arguments for Chris Conley, and I can make a little argument probably for Keelan Cole and say why they're the 2 receiver. Based on the routes that they ran, based on what they were asked to do that first game of the season, and based off their skill set. I can make a case for 3 guys, really 2 guys, Keelan Cole, but I can make a case for 2 guys, Conley and Shenault. This is a great problem to have, though, because if I ask you the same question on the New Orleans Saints, outside of Michael Thomas, who's a 2 receiver on the New Orleans Saints?
Alvin Kamara?
Maybe. outside of Tyreek Hill, if it's even Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, who's the number 2 receiver? And this is my point. Like, if you have variety, not only is it the spice of life, but it's also the spice of a wide receiver group, right? Like, I think right now in in Tampa Bay, yeah, it's either Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those are 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. You stop those guys, you have a good chance to win. When you have a variety of guys who do different things well, and you throw them on the field at the same time, that's hard to game plan for. So as I sit here right now, I would probably say it's Shenault. But once again, I can make an argument for Conley and maybe Keelan Cole. And you know what? That's a great argument to have.
I'm going to say this, okay? This might surprise you. But I think going into week 2 against the Tennessee Titans, I think Keelan Cole's their number 2 guy.
Really?
I think he had such a good camp. And 5 more receptions on 5 targets the other day, including a touchdown. Sometimes, by the way, that happens. I'm not saying they intended to go to him that much, because if so, you'd have DJ Chark with the most targets and catches. But I think he continues to show something here in 2020 that, with a consistent effort, too, that he hasn't shown in his career. He's been inconsistent. He's had great moments, but he's been inconsistent and then almost went off the radar last year. So I think right now, I think he's the 2 guy, and I think he had the second most snaps in the game. So I think they might believe he's the second guy. And then I actually think Shenault would be the 3rd guy right now because he does so much. Yeah. I think he's in there. If you want flavor to your offense, Shenault has to be in the game. He's somebody you got to keep an eye on. Wildcat, line him up and hand it off in the backfield, run out like that touchdown to Chark where he's a threat on the outside and a decoy almost, or an option. And then I have Conley. And then what I really don't know is I don't know where D.D. Westbrook fits. Like, is D.D. Westbrook going to be up this week?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not.
Because you got...
Especially if you have a Colin Johnson,
the
that big
thing about
body.
Colin Johnson, I'm not saying Colin Johnson's better than D.D. Westbrook. I don't think so. The resume doesn't... Yeah. That's not... You can't say that.
But let's see Colin Johnson in the red zone
first. Variety.
Yeah,
he's a 6'6" guy who does a backflip in the victory formation.
That's right.
So I think they need him on there to say, hey, in the red zone here, this look will be great.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's more of a game plan thing. I'm not saying he's better than, but I think it's a game plan thing. And it's interesting to keep an eye on D.D. Westbrook here now. This is assuming everybody stays healthy. But how much is D.D. Westbrook even playing in the early part of this year is a curious question.
This is, though, what I love for Jay Gruden, because it's always been Jay Gruden's MO. And it's the first thing I really said when he came to Jacksonville. It's that he loves to spread the ball around. I think sometimes, whether you're like the New Orleans Saints or your teams that have like this bona fide 1 receiver, like you feel the need, whether it's how much money you're paying him or just how good he is to get that guy the ball. Right now, it worked in Arizona, week 1. I mean, Hopkins had like 15 catches, and that worked out fine. But my point is, sometimes your offense revolves around, well, you have to get the number 1 receiver the ball. Now, when Gruden came out and said with DJ Chark, we're going to put him in the slot a little bit, we're going to move him around, that led me to believe that, all right, the script is going to follow DJ Chark getting his receptions and then everybody else following in line. But what we're seeing, at least, and once again, it's only week 1, so everybody relax a little bit. But what we've seen so far is that it doesn't matter if you're a 1 receiver, a 3 receiver, a fullback. If you fit the script, you'll get yours as well. And once again, I like that. I like the fact that game planning that is going to be nearly impossible because anybody can. It's the Kansas City Chiefs effect. Now, obviously, Kansas City probably has a little more talent at the receiver position, tight end position, even at the fullback position, if you will. But what makes Kansas City so tough? Like, yes, they have the speed, they have the Tyreek Hill, they have the Travis Kelce, but you never know who's going to get that ball. And Andy Reid has plays designed for everyone. You get the sense right now that Jay Gruden has plays designed for everybody on that receiving core, fullbacks alike and tight ends alike, whereas like you take what the defense gives you and then you go from there.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. It's like comparing anything we say to Tom Brady, comparing it to the Kansas City Chiefs right now. But I love what you're saying in terms of the thought process, the concepts, and what you could do. And I think you're right because there's no doubt they ran a play for Conley. Like, they ran that play so they could get Conley involved because he was really not involved. And it wasn't his fault. It wasn't anybody else's fault. They had other guys making plays. James Robinson running the ball. Well, they didn't have a ton of plays to begin with. And on top of that, I believe the guy that they can get a heck of a lot more involved that they didn't the other day is Eifert.
Yeah.
I still have to check on this. I'm going to check on this the next day. But I believe if you watch that, when they watch that in the film room, I bet they were super impressed with what Eifert did on Sunday. My guess is. I don't know. I haven't heard that from anybody yet. But I think Eifert seemed open on some plays. I think he played really well, and I think he's going to could be a big part of this if they'll identify him and get him the football. Stat Boy coming through. Mike Clay
He's alive.
Tweeted this, and so he just shared. And I think I'm right.
Mike Clay, Stat Boy?
No, Mike, but he's sharing us a tweet from Mike Clay. He says, Jaguars overhauled wide receiver room. Here's the percentages of snaps per next gen.
Okay.
DJ Chark, 83%. Keelan Cole, 70%. Leviska Chenault, 62%. Chris Conley, 30%. Colin Johnson, 19%. And Dede Westbrook, inactive.
You were right then, man.
I was right, and I didn't see that, by the way, beforehand.
I'm sure you didn't.
No, well, I had heard that Keelan Cole had the second most snaps.
I got you. Ty is Stat Boy, by the way, isn't he?
What's that?
Ty Stat Boy. Shouldn't he be in school right now? I guess it's good now.
No, they're out.
Yeah, they're
Hopefully he's at baseball tryouts unless it's raining once again down in
best of luck to Ty.
Well, here's a surprise, though. I didn't realize Colin Johnson was in for that many snaps.
Wait, how many was it again?
19%. So he's in a fifth of the plays. I didn't realize that. I didn't notice him on the field that much.
And something that you kind of felt in neglect, too. I mean, obviously, you have that big body receiver. What's the first thing you think of? Hello, red zone. Hello, end zone. Let's get him the end zone. But also, from a blocking perspective, in the run game, that's a guy out of like a bunch formation that can maybe do some damage because he's so dang big, where in the run game blocking, he might be all right.
Here's where I do give, again, depending on what you want to believe and hear, Doug Marone said, and Dave Caldwell said, right before the season started, why they made these moves. Like, hey, we really tried to take resumes away and names off jerseys and all that stuff, where you were drafted, and just play the guys that are playing well. Play guys that earned it. You know, and that's how James Robinson got to be the running back number one. Well, Cole played really well in August, and their percentage of snaps showed that they trusted him, and he had earned the right to get those kind of snaps. I mean, you give them credit that they're living up to their word of saying, hey, this guy looked good. We're going to play him. Well, we want to see more from him. I mean, we'll see if that carries on. But they didn't care that Dede Westbrook was drafted in the 4th round, had 68 catches last year. They didn't get a chance to see Dede Westbrook because he was hurt. Or when they did see him, they weren't that impressed with him. Yeah. And they made him inactive.
Well, and obviously I think the injury bug had something to do with that, right?
I think,
you don't
but
get
he was healthy scratch by definition.
No, but my point is, like, he didn't do himself any favors of being out mostly a training camp.
No, true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so he didn't have a chance to earn it.
Correct,
that's fair.
Correct. But, yeah, I mean, Doug Marone sticking to his word, absolutely. But at the same time, well, you have to, man, right? Because you can't come out and say that there's an open competition, and then all of a sudden you turn around and say, all right, Dede, well, you're in. Keelan, sorry. Yeah,
I understand.
I mean, so, like.
But sometimes what people say to the media is coach speak. My point is he wasn't.
No, he's being truthful, and obviously that goes a long way in the eyes of the players.
I think so, yeah. Well, it means you got a shot. Go earn it, right? Which is the way sports should be, but it's not always.
I'm here to tell you firsthand that it's not sometimes in terms of how locker rooms work.
And so it's very interesting what they do with their wide receiving core, and you like it. I mean, there's a reason to like their – Minshew has some things to work with. And I think it's difficult for Jay Gruden because if it was me, I'd want to do all that fun stuff with Shenault, but I really want to feed Chark, and I'd like to see Eifert get more involved. Yeah. And then you have all these other guys, and I think it all feeds off one thing, and this is why it worked the other day. James Robinson showcasing that he could get 5 or 6 yards at a time, sometimes 8. The fact that he showed that, it made Indianapolis respect that and opened up Gruden to be able to utilize all these guys in the course of the game. And so it really does start with what you always say is that run game. But Robinson proving that early on was a huge
Brent's starting
deal.
to come around. Brent's starting to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit. Stop the run the football. Welcome. Good to have you here. What's up?
I don't dismiss that you have to do that.
Uh-huh. You're just not buying wholeheartedly into it.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they came out against Tennessee and threw the first 5 times.
They might run the ball again, too. We'll see, huh?
They might.
Yeah.
And would you be shocked if they did? Because didn't you think we said that a bit yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why'd they just hand off twice in a row?
No, I said, you guys are tanking. That's what I said. I'm like, don't Gardner Minshew a chance. Just let him. Yeah, there we go. Who's calling the shots? John DeFilippo again? No. So with that being said, yeah, I thought for sure it was like a setup, but then it opened everything up. And I'm going to say this, Brent. If we when we turn on that Sunday game, Tennessee, is that a 1 o'clock game?
Yeah.
All right, go and check your local listings, everybody. Check your local listings.
CBS 47.
Check your local listings. When we turn on that game, and if they start pounding the rock again, and they have success, and they somehow win this game, I'm going to tell you right now, I will waive your initiation fee to my cult, and you're going to be the first member of the Run the Football, Stop the Run program I'm going to set up for everybody here.
Very good.
Welcome.
I'd love to be a part of a cult.
Welcome. Or a group, or whatever you want to call it. But
I'll see if the softballers want to come over too.
But let's just call it a way of life. Let's just call it that.
Hey, we're gonna take a break. We come back. We will talk a little NBA. Am I really excited?
Is this still happening?
Am I really? I'm kind of excited to watch the Clippers and Nuggets play.
I know,
like,
right?
Has anybody in the history of sports ever said that?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I might have the Nuggets tonight too. I might have the Nuggets, Brent. What's up?
I'm not sure if I'm ready to go that far.
Well, let's talk about it.
Silent assassin, Kawhi Leonard.
Let's talk about it.
A little NBA chatter, update you on the MLB as well. We're getting close to the playoffs, so where are we in the standings? Anybody on the verge of stunningly getting left out? Unfortunately, probably not. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few scattered showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy and muggy with temperatures in the 70s. And Wednesday will be partly cloudy, scattered showers, possibly a thunderstorm, and highs in the mid-80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist, Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save thousands right now with Beard's unbeatable deals.
Want a party? Here's an invitation. The team at CGC Water is throwing a party, and you're invited. 50 years ago, Connecticut innovated water treatment with their non-electric twin tank softeners, and they are celebrating with you. Come on out Saturday, September 26th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Celebrate with huge savings on salt and get 50% off Connecticut filters. There will be hourly drawings for great prizes, and there will be music out there as well. The team will be available to answer any questions, and they want to welcome you to the Connecticut family. Safety guidelines will be adhered to ensure all attendees enjoy the day in a safe, healthy environment. Visit 2181 St. John's Bluff Road South, right here in Jacksonville, Saturday, September 26th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and celebrate 50 years of providing customers with safe, clean, purified drinking water. If you are not filtering your water, you are the filter. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
I just got here and I come out there and play like that. And for the guys that still support me and still have my back was pretty cool. And that's the cool thing about team sports is, you know, you win and lose in a team. You win and lose as a team. And obviously a position like mine, everybody sees it when you screw up. You know, that's why I was, you know, grateful for the opportunity at the end because the guys deserve to win. And yeah, I mean, everyone's always supported. I mean, we're all pros here. We've all had our days. It's just, you know, with the kicking position, it's a very, you know, you miss a couple of kicks, the camera follows you around, they talk about you the whole time, they watch you, and it can get to a lonely spot, but you just got to keep your head high and keep on going.
Stephen Gostkowski had a rough day.
Why don't you take off your shoes? Did you see that last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, he took off his shoes. Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, he needed a couch, huh?
Yeah. You need to come on this show and talk about it a little bit, you know? We're here for you, man.
They need like a timeout guy on the sideline.
Yeah.
In Denver and in Tennessee, they need a couch.
Who was the silent reporter for that one? Was it Michelle Tafoya? No, I can't remember. Or Pam Oliver? I can't. Whoever the silent reporter was.
Taylor.
Oh, Maria Taylor. They asked her, like, hey, Maria, what are you seeing down there from, you know, Gostkowski? And she's like, well, I'll be honest with you, like, he's walking by himself and sitting by himself a lot. He seems to be a little, you know, disoriented. And then they show him taking off his shoes. I'm, like, looking at him. I'm like,
walking out of here?
This guy is, like, lost his marbles.
They actually got to the point where, like, you don't hear this in the national broadcast very much, where it's like, I think one of them said, I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I think they did.
Emotion take over
like,
a little
and
bit.
even in the end, like, when he kicked, like, you got to feel good for him, you know, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't usually hear that in the NFL in a national broadcast, but it was pretty ugly for Gostkowski. No doubt about this. Jags have a kicking edge.
You better believe it, man.
Sunday.
You better believe it.
I mean, that's a no-brainer right there. They've got a kicking edge.
Kicking and punting, if you will. Yeah, you better believe it. Well, I mean, punting, well, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, Kern's okay. He was pretty good, right? Kern's, I think, their guy.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? Logan Cook got off to a slow start last year. I remember then had a great year. It got off to a slow start this year, too. Like, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And no punting for the Colts.
Yeah, don't need it.
That guy what a game check that is.
He's still going to just sit on the bench the whole time? Yeah.
How about Cincinnati, by the way? They pull a muscle, their guy, on the tying kick.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
he went on IR, so.
Yeah, he went. Okay, so then it was legit.
Yeah.
Maybe he was in the locker room after with a hammer and hit his hamstring or something like that. Because, like,
that was pretty quick.
Well, I mean, if that's me, though, like, it's a rough situation to be in, right? When you shank it that bad and all eyes are on you, it'd be like me, like, saying something very regretful while, like, on the radio. I was like, I got strep throat or something. I would go, oh, no, it wasn't me. Like, I try to do something in that moment. But, yeah, man, the life of a kicker, it's, I guess they kind of love you until they don't anymore. You know, that's a simple way to put it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see. That's in Tennessee's head. They haven't replaced them, right? I mean, they haven't made a move there. There'll probably be some tryouts and workouts. We'll see if that's a tough call with a guy with a resume like that. And again, I said at the top of the show, Indianapolis was in that situation last year, and it probably cost them the playoffs. I mean, I think you can clearly say it cost them the postseason last year. Wait, did they make the postseason last year? No, they were 7-9.
The Colts, no, because the Titans and Texans both did.
So, you don't want to be giving away games, and they got lucky. They like should have won probably handily, but at the same time they got lucky.
They did.
The Titans did, unfortunately, for Jags fans. All right, one more look at the NFL coming up, but before we do that, the NBA Clippers Nuggets tonight.
Yeah.
Game 7. Yeah. Who would have thunk it? I mean, this is back-to-back rallying from 3-1 down for the Nuggets. Kind of a gutty team.
Yeah.
For sure. Clippers overrated. pressure's on L.A. now.
Oh, you better believe, man. This is definitely their game to win. He had a couple days rest. I'm going Nuggets, man. All right. I don't know if it's just because of the bubble and all the chaos this year of the NBA. I don't know if it's because I believe in Jamal Murray and it's like fate that the Denver Nuggets are supposed to win this game. I know it's because Jokic has a couple more days of rest where he should be fine tonight to play, or at least not 100%, but at least better than he has been. I just think that this could be the Nuggets. This could be the Denver Nuggets.
Strep throat?
Yeah, strep throat. It's going to be the Denver Nuggets night. Now, maybe there's a little hate for me for Kawhi Leonard for what he did to the Milwaukee Bucks last year. But I just think that if any year you could see this kind of upset, because it'll be an upset, don't get it twisted, it would be this crazy year in the bubble.
What do you think, Driving Dish podcaster? I'm going to tell you right now, the Clippers are going to win. Go ahead.
I agree with Austin, although, Brent, you may not have been here the day we did it, but Austin and I did, who was our sleeper, and Austin had picked the Mavericks, I believe. And I was saying the Nuggets because...
No, he was here for it.
Was he? Yep. Okay, but I was saying the Nuggets because they're record-wise literally like the third best team. Like, they are as good as they are looking right now, and some of the players are still developing and getting to where they think they could be. So,
I remember that day just because Brent said the most overrated team in the bubble is the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I did.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, whoopsies.
That was a good prediction.
Whoopsies.
I don't even know if you.
How upsetting would it be to not have a Clippers-Lakers? Like, that's literally like they started the NBA season with it because that's what we were working towards.
Yeah, I get it, and you're right. It would be major disappointment. It's not. Every call will go the Clippers' way tonight.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has to.
It almost. It's a terrible spot, but it could certainly go that way. Like, to me, I don't care about that stuff. Like, I don't need to see the storyline come through. Mm-hmm. I'm not wrapped up in the storyline as much, although you're right. I mean, it'd be heavyweight. Mm-hmm. But for the sport and for the viewer, for everything, storyline-wise, for all the attention on ESPN, you almost need it.
Sure.
And this is why the NBA needs it. Whoever wins, if it is Clippers-Lakers, it doesn't look like it's going to be a super competitive on paper. Now, the Miami Heat been fantastic. Mm-hmm. Celtics are a gutty team as well. Yeah. But on paper, it doesn't look like it's going to be much of a series in the final. So if you go 2 series in a row, Western Conference Finals and that, you got LeBron and the Lakers. They carry the weight, LeBron and the Lakers anyway. Yeah. But still, you have potential storyline here that you don't really want to miss.
True.
If you're the league, it would be nice. Major League Baseball winding down in a big way. Are your Brewers even going to make the playoffs? Because the Cincinnati Reds are on fire.
I don't know. Are they really? I don't know. I mean, did you see, speaking of deleting Twitter, you see what Giannis did?
Oh, boy.
See what Giannis did?
No.
Huh? You didn't?
What did I miss?
He deleted all the Milwaukee Bucks stuff off his Instagram and everything.
Didn't he just have like a 3-hour postseason lunch with the owner or whatever?
My first thought when I saw that, I was like, it only took 3 hours? That's a little concerning.
Deleted. Well, because he's going on vacation, supposedly. They're going to pick things back up when he comes back.
So he deleted all the Bucks stuff?
See ya.
So this is a thing.
Unfriended all the Bucks players. I'm sure they broke bread together. I'm sure.
Because in that 3-hour conversation, they said, if you literally want to make me able to win, you essentially have to trade everyone else because I need a number 2, and you let Malcolm Brogdon go, so you have nobody to trade for someone.
Why didn't you bring this up 40 minutes ago when we were talking
about? Because I'm trying to secrete these memories. I'm trying to get them away. I don't want to think about this stuff. You know how hard is that?
A weird visual.
That's a term, right? I just said it right.
Yeah.
Did I say it right or not?
I don't know.
Did I say it right?
I'm not touching it.
Let's go ahead and Google that real quick. Oh yeah, but you want
to go to take a break?
Yeah, but you want to go ahead and touch the P word that you said today. Whether that rhymes with limp.
It's a good thing you had an explanation there. Where is this show going?
Yeah,
kids are in the car.
Yeah, secret. I want to ooze these memories back in my mind. We're good to go. Anyways, so Giannis Antetokounmpo, man.
So it does fit.
It fits perfectly. Yeah, like I'm an English teacher. Don't worry about it.
Because we already have come up with intackleable today.
Intackleable for sure. Yep, a lot of trademarks going around. But yeah, so Giannis unfriended everybody in the Milwaukee Bucks, Brent.
Wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
What is going on here? I need a marketing person, agent person. There's something to this.
Well, yeah.
Has this story been written? and I just haven't seen it.
I don't know.
Like, there's a method to this.
Can we all agree when we have to sign like a new contract for ESPN beforehand, we're just going to unfriend all stations and everything?
Hey, my contract's up next year. I'm planning to do it, Action News. Get ready.
I'm just bummed because the Packers look decent. I could care less, man. Wisconsin's hurting.
I was
for
talking
sports,
baseball.
Brent.
Chicago White Sox are in the lead in the Central.
Of course. And then
Twins
the
and the
Cardinals.
Indians. Oakland and Astros. It looks like the playoffs are pretty much set with those 8 teams. The Reds, though, are on fire as of late.
Easy, Brent.
Not about on fire.
Easy. What else we got? How are those Athletics looking?
Here's the fun team, though. San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
Man, they've been great. They've won 9 out of 10.
Yep.
And the Oakland Athletics are 6.5 up. They're going to win the West.
Like that a lot. Astros?
They're under 500, but they're in right now. They're under 500.
Okay.
They need somebody else to come up and get them.
Okay.
DJ Stewart's on fire, by the way, too, for the Baltimore Orioles. Just keeps hitting home runs.
I know.
It's good to see.
Chicks in the long ball.
We wrap up with a little more football. We got to go good and bad from the weekend of teams in the NFL so I can do my Kyler Murray thing. Next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter update.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags' victory on Sunday left everyone feeling good. Unfortunately, it also put starting safety Gerard Wilson on IR with a hamstring. In response, the Jags are bringing up Sidney Jones from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster. On Monday Night Football, the Titans eked out a win against the Denver Broncos, and Big Ben returned to the NFL after missing almost all of last season. Roethlisberger and the Steelers bested the Giants 26-16. He threw 3 touchdowns and no picks in his return, and here are his thoughts.
I told the guys in the locker room before the game that the reason I came back is because of them. I don't need to accomplish anything personally anymore. It's about being with a defense that I think is as good as any that I've ever played with, skill guys that are young and fun to play with, and then, of course, my line, who I love to death and they love me.
You're working from home and you want to listen to ESPN? Tell your smart speaker, play ESPN 690.
Are you ready for a new ride? Then your wait is over. It's the Today's the Day sales event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Today's the day for you to drive away from Arlington one really happy customer in your brand new Toyota. That's because you'll get 0% for 60 months on all new 2020 Camrys, Corollas, and RAV4s. 0%. How about getting a new Toyota Plus, no payments for 90 days? Today's the day because that's exactly what you'll get at Arlington. And did I mention 2 years of free maintenance? Yes. Today's the day you get your new Toyota at Arlington plus 2 years of free maintenance. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Today is most definitely the day to get the Toyota you really want at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. Today is the day for full details.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliances breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first 2, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
It doesn't matter how old we are. We all need love and support. Yet, teenagers who end up in foster care have a much harder time finding it, as nearly 82% of current foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. The good news is you can positively impact a teen's life by becoming a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You don't have to be married or own a home. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. So if you've ever felt a calling to help youth, please take this opportunity to explore becoming a foster parent to a teen through Family Support Services. Teenagers may no longer be little, but they still need lots of love. Take the next step by visiting foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
Donato's Pizza is proud to support the Florida State Seminoles. When it comes to pizza for game time, we can suit any taste. From 100 pepperonis on a large loaded edge-to-edge on smoked provolone and Romano, to our delicious and healthy cauliflower crust tomato bruschetta with plant-based sausage, to mariachi chicken, to the founder's favorite, and more. We offer a convenient pickup window or prompt delivery. Just give Donato's a try. That's all we ask. Order at 904donatos.com or call 904-DONATOS on your phone.
Nobody gives back like Diamonds Direct. That's right, it's back. Our most popular offer, 5 years, 0 interest financing. September is the time to buy at Diamonds Direct. Get the best price, plus spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And every purchase made in September will benefit No Kid Hungry's mission to end childhood hunger right here in our community. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years, and give at Diamonds Direct on approved credit. Visit diamondsdirect.com for details.
Stop selling your real estate if you want to build your wealth. Our team here at Hometown Realty specializes in helping homeowners with the difficult decision of selling it or renting it. Your home might make a great investment property. We'll break down the numbers and go over the pros and cons to help you make an informed decision. Right now, rents are at an all-time high and mortgages are at an all-time low. So if you have a home valued between $200,000 to $1 million, we invite you to talk to our team today about our sell it or rent it strategy. From securing a new tenant to full background screenings, Hometown Realty offers the most comprehensive sales and management services in the industry. Contact us today for your free Keep It or Sell It market analysis by texting WEALTH to 41404 or at hometownjacks.com. Again, that's WEALTH to 41404 or hometownjacks.com.
End of summer savings have been extended at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard's, take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest financing.
This unprecedented finance offer absolutely ends this month.
Pick out that one-of-a-kind piece, then divide your total by 60, and that's what you pay a month.
It's the last time you'll get 5 years, 0 interest this year.
How about a 6,000 Corey or ring? $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month.
Chance for some savings.
Get her that piece of jewelry she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months.
5 years, 0 interest is about to end. So hurry.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Come into Beard's Diamonds. See the difference. Save thousands.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on theirs. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years, servicing Jacksonville to St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. When your appliances quit, we're ready to get started. For quality repair at a price that's fair, visit AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690.
All right. We got some NFL chatter. Get your Kyler Murray fantasy team. I have to deal with that all year.
It's hard to be humble. Hard to be humble when you're dropping 100. What did I drop? 170 points? I think.
170 points?
That's what I dropped. Week 1.
In our league?
That is correct.
Like, what he did, because he had like 90 yards, right, rushing?
Yeah.
And he didn't have anything crazy passing, did he?
No, sorry. I only dropped 162 yards. Yeah, he had 26 points, Brent. He had some rushes, too.
Okay.
I mean, we had Delvin Cook.
I had Lamar Jackson. He had 27 points.
You got Mark Andrews. Hey, taper off just a little bit, man. We got a long season to go. I don't need you getting 2 touchdowns every single week with Lamar Jackson. But if you want to, man, I ain't going to stop you. Mark Andrews is on pace to get Ruth Chris for me this year after the season, just like Lamar Jackson was on pace last year. What's up?
All right.
How you feeling? Did you win this week? No, you didn't win, did you?
No, I haven't.
What is that like? What does it feel like to lose? How is that?
There's only one way up from here.
Okay, there you go. What do you got for us, Brent?
Losing builds character.
Sure.
Sometimes. How about this, okay? So I get this email today, and I've never got a more conflicted email. I read it to you guys already, but stay with it. So the title says Brett Martineau. I think this is in regards to our TV show last night. So it says Brett Martineau. That's okay. People call me that. But then in the email, it says big fan of Brent.
Yeah.
So we're already conflicted,
so
right?
is he trolling you?
Which one is it?
I don't know. Yeah.
But he says, big fan of Brent, but his low ball, which I appreciate, thank you. But his low ball comments on the Eagles' sad loss to Washington was unfortunate. I'm a lifelong Eagles fan, and yes, the game was horrible. I'm also a Jaguars fan, and have lived here off and on since they got the team. I damn near cried. I think he means because of the win. But they won one game, he says. Hold off on printing Super Bowl tickets. Jeez. And to have fun at former Jaguars players' expense was unprofessional. They are gone. Let them be. But I guess sports broadcasters here to have fun while they can. But after one game, enjoy, guys. We all know you, and me too, will be crying come midseason. Oh, how many Super Bowls have the Jaguars won in the last 20 years? Anyone?
Yeah. Hey.
Is he roasting us here?
Pick a lane.
Pick a side, right?
Pick a lane.
Either hammer me
or
give me a hug.
Himself. Yeah, but then he's hammering himself. And you guys are in the same boat. Then all of a sudden he takes you out of the boat, and now he won a Super Bowl.
I mean, it was Brett and Brent.
Yeah. There's a lot to dissect there. All right, this is more than Allen Robinson deleting some Bears pictures. This is like some cryptic stuff we got from this gentleman over here.
How good are you impressed with Arizona? 1, because of Murray and Hopkins, or 2, because they beat San Francisco? I mean, 14 catches for Hopkins.
Both, yeah. I mean, I'm impressed because your
numbers weren't the offense wasn't overwhelming, but San Francisco's defense is good.
But you also saw some wrinkles of now what the Kingsbury offense should look like, right? You saw some interesting formations, things like that, against a pretty dang good San Fran defense. So I'm impressed more with what I saw on offense as just opposed to Kyle Murray or DeAndre Hopkins.
I still think they're overrated.
That's fine, man. I'll keep getting those dubs.
I know.
Dubs.
Gosh, I was hoping they lost that game when I come in here with Minshew and another win, man.
Dubs.
We got to go. We'll be back here tomorrow. Thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690.
I never knew my home would become my workplace.